All right, good night, everyone. Happy Saturday. We have a lot of important stuff to talk about today in the NFL. We have, who is considered the GOAT has retired. Big Ben has retired. But before that, we have a stack panel with us tonight. We have Mr. Vincent. I know you guys probably wondering who is this guy. You haven't seen him in a while, but he is here tonight. We have Devin. He changed his name from all rounder because he has been more absent than present. So take the little all rounder off his name. We have Chris Lynch over here. The Packers lose. So all of a sudden, he decided that he must show up on this program to stick it to Aaron Rodgers. And then we have the man called himself State Farm Diva Playoff Flop. I don't know who he's referring to, but I know him as Wally West. That's how I know him. I don't know who is the Diva Playoff Flop, but we'll definitely get into that. But first and foremost, how are we doing, gentlemen? Are we doing good? How is the Saturday? I know some of us experiencing some snow, some heat, and some of us just chilling. How we doing?
Good.
Good.
I'm good. I'm good.
It's a beautiful Saturday.
Yeah.
Beautiful time. All right. So, first, definitely, we have to talk about Tom Brady. It has been reported, obviously we're seeing some conflicting reports. Some are saying he's not retired as yet, he's still thinking about it. But majority of the reports that have surfaced is that he has now retired from the NFL. 22 seasons, 20 years in New England, 2 years in Tampa Bay. Obviously, we all know he's a 7-time Super Bowl champion. He's a 3-time league MVP. And obviously, I believe he leads it in passing yards, passing touchdowns, and completions, right? So obviously, we know this man, is top class. A lot of persons have him as the GOAT. A lot of persons say he's second. A lot of persons have him top 5. But wherever you rank this guy, we must know that, this guy, definitely has 7 rings. This man was drafted in the 6th round. He was drafted
199.
199, right? And remember that second year. That's his second year in the league, but his first year playing against the St. Louis Rams at the time in that Super Bowl. Game is 17-17, 1 minute 21 left. The announcer is saying, hey, I'll just take a knee and take my chances in overtime. Had no timeouts. And Tom Brady, at least at that time, he wasn't Tom Brady, but, he drove the ball, get them into field goal range. And obviously, the Patriots had a world-class kicker at that point in time. Can't pronounce his long name, but I know it starts with V. But, so yeah, and, Tom Brady, won that Super Bowl. And a lot of persons were saying, Drew Bledsoe is a better quarterback, but Bill Belichick, definitely I have to give him props for that. Stick with Tom Brady, and he won that Super Bowl. And, last thing before I get Chris Lynch in here is that, when they drafted Tom Brady 199, Tom Brady went to the owner, Robert Kraft, and said, hey, this is the best decision you are going to make for this franchise. And obviously, when we look back at the Patriots franchise and what they have accomplished with this man, we must agree that, definitely, they made the right decision. So, Chris Lynch, what do you have to say about Tom Brady, and would you consider him the GOAT? And basically, I just want to know, what is your favorite memory, of this quarterback?
As far as I consider, he's not retired because that's how sports is, Ken. We can come and say anything. We have seen players done that in all sports that I've watched. I've seen players do it. So until the season starts, and I don't see Tom Brady, I really don't have him retired. Do I believe he's probably going to retire for real? Yes, because women do run the world, and his most important woman at this time, his wife, is basically, I think that she would want his time, and his children would want his time, and he would have make enough money. It's not money why he's doing it. No, it's just the love of it. But I still don't regard him retired until the season starts and I see no Tom Brady. But Tom Brady has a lot of memorable moments, basically, because he's one of, like you say, he's definitely in the conversation of the greatest. I definitely think that he's not afraid of the moment, and that makes him the greatest. He just always look to be ready for the moment and get everyone involved, and he has never shy away. You can never say Tom Brady has shy away from a moment to seize to not let Ken's have a bad day. Every time Ken see the game close, he's like, here is a Brady moment, and they're gonna praise him. Yes, and rightfully so. People do praise him because he have gave us so much moments. It's hard for me to even pick one. Even against the Rams, I was there sitting. People were saying, "Here is Brady coming again," with all the mishaps that the Rams did. But you have to take the chances, and that's what he do. He always takes his chances.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Chris Lynch made a great point, Vincent. He was saying that women really and truly, rule the world, right? And most successful men, majority of successful men, in this world, they always have that anchor, have as a wife right beside them. And one thing I've realized with Tom Brady, especially this season, is that he was really content with whatever happened. Before when you ask Tom Brady a question, which ring is your favorite ring, his answer has always be the next one, right? But if you really watch how this season unfold, he was more accepting of everything what's going on. So when you look at that, Vincent, do you believe that because he has preached that he wanted to continue playing until he's 45, right? He's now 44, so obviously 1 year short. But do you believe that it's a situation where, man, I've given it my all, 7 Super Bowls. I don't love it anymore. I just want to spend time with my family.
Um, Good night, everybody. Tom Brady really at the stage that I believe that he can do whatever he chooses to do. I know, as Chris said, that and for a while now, his wife has been trying to get him to stop. The truth of the
Absolutely.
matter is, I do believe that there becomes a point sometime in your career where it doesn't matter what else you do. All you're doing is just adding to your legacy because it
Yeah.
has already been established and it is concrete. For
Yeah.
me, without a shadow of a doubt, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback the league has ever seen. Full stop. There is no inner conversation. There is no if. There is no doubt. There is nothing about that. And I can say that unreservedly because I am someone who I look at sports with GOAT, and for me, there is no one thing that makes any person a GOAT. I believe it is always a series of things that you'll put together and determine who is the GOAT. And for me, there's some criteria that I have that I look at where GOAT is concerned. Tom Brady has never been my quarterback. So let me put that out there. He has never been. The Rams is a side that I have always loved. In 2001, I believe the New England Patriots cheated the Rams and they videotaped the practice and they held the Rams down to 17 points. Notwithstanding that, Tom Brady did well enough, even as a very young rookie quarterback, then to lead them down, even when, as you said, the announcer, because I remember the game, the announcer was saying, they're gonna go for overtime. Tom Brady bring them down the field, and the Patriots got a field goal. Listen, this man, as I said, is undoubtedly the greatest quarterback the game has ever seen. The man has, we know the stats, we know the things. The man has played in 10 Super Bowl. He has won 7. Tom Brady has more Super Bowl than any other NFL team. We're not talking no players, any other NFL team. I think the
Yeah.
New England have 6, San Francisco have 6, and I think the Steelers, I believe, have 6. Tom Brady has 7. You understand? He has pretty much all the passing records, both in regular season and playoff.
Yep.
The man has won 3 MVP, 5 Super Bowl MVP. So he doesn't just win those Super Bowl, 5 MVPs. You understand?
Yep.
And I could go on and
Absolutely.
on about all the record that Tom Brady has. The man owns everything. Award, record, you name it, Tom Brady has it. Then how could you say he's not the greatest?
Absolutely. All right. And I want to get in the guy here who every time Tom Brady is playing, this guy gets super excited. he starts using words as, "Oh, this guy is so surgical. Oh, he's throwing them. Oh, I want to get this guy in because Wally, you have praised this guy. You have called him the goat. I just want to know, if you can tell me one Tom Brady moment that really and truly does resonate with you, where you say, this is the defining moment for me, where he's the GOAT. He defied all odds. I thought it was all over. This is what makes Tom Brady the GOAT for me.
I'm gonna defer and let Devin go ahead.
Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? I'm more surgical. All right. Go ahead.
Yes, man, definitely. But I'll let Devin go ahead.
So my thing with Tom Brady is like all the stats that you mentioned, I have those stats too. But like when you compare like the next man or the closest to him, because we talk about championships and people say, "Oh yes, but he's on one side of the ball." So the defense also helped that too. He has the 7 rings, but in the other categories, comes like most touchdown. In NFL, he has 624. Drew Brees is in
the next
second.
Garrett's quarterback is at 571. In the yards, that you mentioned before, Kems, he has 84,520. Drew Brees is second at 80,358. And when you look at the other guys below, all those guys have retired. So it's going to take a lot of catching for anybody else to reach up to that level.
Yep.
And another thing what I find outstanding is the crunch time. When they touch the playoffs, right?
Yep.
There's a record. Like, I'm not saying he's leading in all of these, like all-time playoff leader in touchdown passes, passing yards, and completion combined together. And that's just for the playoffs. So when it comes on to crunch time, he has delivered. And
absolutely
7 from 10 for Super Bowl. That's very, very outstanding. Well, not that we say we're not gonna go against greatness, but we can't forget about the standards that surround him. Because like I somehow in most situations always try to find certain players who the media love, they'll sweep certain things under the carpet. If it was another guy where it's not like lovable by everybody, people talk about Deflategate a lot more, talk about the spying thing, and those things may not be him, but those things are associated with him, Kemps.
Yes, absolutely.
So and it's like I'm just thinking if it was some other quarterback, you'd have hear it more and more. Once his name come up. Yeah, so I'm not putting that to downgrade him or anything like that, but it's like it's just associated with them and the cheating and all that. So that has to be mentioned at some point. But no, people are not gonna mention it like just like that, boy. Trust me.
Obviously, and I agree with you, Devin, because Vincent and I have had this conversation privately, where I've said that resumes matter, and it will always matter. If it was a player like Antonio Brown retiring, I promise you, they would have said great receiver, but then all his off the field issues would have been highlighted. You rarely see anything like that about Tom Brady. Obviously, persons are thinking about it in the back of their head, but they're not really talking about it in the open. It's just all praise for him. All right, Gary, let me get you in right here. And good night, boss. I see you.
Yeah, night.
Look like you're coming from church in your nice tie, looking very professional. I must commend you, looking real good. All right.
Yeah, I'm cool.
So, Tom Brady, right? He has been obviously assisting for 20 years. And let us not play ourselves. We cannot go around the fact that the system has helped him to be great. Like, we can't go around it. Also, the future division that he was in, playing the Dolphins twice, playing the Jets twice, playing the Bills twice. Remember, there was no Josh Allen and those guys then, So, with that being said, right, do you believe that if Tom Brady had stayed in New England, he would have played until 45? Or do you just believe that this is the time to retire now?
I don't necessarily think it has nothing to do with New England. I think Father Time has caught almost every athlete we know about. If he had stayed in New England, there would still be a time that he would have to retire. I think
it was coming down to that end because he has been playing in the league 22 seasons, and as we know, a lot of the times quarterbacks have families. A lot of them have wives, they have children, and then they're doing this thing, this thing for years. His wife is a supermodel, but you know Giselle, and influence that she has. I believe that it played a factor in him, deciding to call it quits. Um, Tom Brady, the reason why a lot of these quarterbacks, not diminishing the work that they did, play so long, right, in this era is because the rules, we all know this, the rules have been adjusted, and that is why he's, able to play till 44. The rules benefited him a lot. You have the tuck rule and all of those things. You know the history. He has had a phenomenal career. I just believe that it has nothing to do with the division or the conference. He has achieved everything the game, all the records, we know the records first in wins, even quarterback wins, Super Bowls. He has more than franchises. He has passing touchdowns, career completions, passing yards, everything. You name it, he has it, right? There was a graphic some time ago from when he started in the league to when he transitioned even to Tampa Bay. He has basically 3 Hall of Fame careers when you put them together. His first, divided into 8 categories, had about 2 Super Bowls when he was up to 25, then another category 25 to 35. He had a back-to-back 04, 05, and then the last part of his career, even up to Tampa Bay. So we see the trajectory over the years that he has been, very dominant in the league. And I hear a lot of times we speak about the scandals surrounding him. A lot of these scandals are associated with the franchise, right? Not necessarily him, but people are going to look at it and say, all right, it tarnishes his reputation, his legacy. And I believe you can't talk about Tom Brady's career and the story behind Tom Brady without talking about the spy gate, the deflate gate, and all of those things. But if you are good, and I say this to people, you could have spy on the team a little more. You could have take them signals, them and codes, everything. You can't win 7 Super Bowls. You can't get 4 Super Bowls out of. If you're just not good, you're just not good, right? And I think the issue is persons believe that New England was so dominant and Brady is so good, they didn't need to do a lot of these things. So I think that is where the indictment and the story surrounding the Patriots franchises over the years. So if you're not good, then fine. You can, some joke franchises can do some of these things. But if you're so dominant over the years in the league, especially Belichick and the Tom Brady combination, a lot of these scandals were very unnecessary because they did not need to do a lot of these things. So I think that is the whole factor surrounding the Patriots and the scandals and so forth. But Brady, nothing to take away from his career. It's very prolific, all-time great, as Vincent said. I hear them matching up, not even only the NFL. They're bringing the comparisons with all the other sports. So he's the GOAT of GOATs. So they match him up with Jordan. You hear this thing with Wayne Gretzky in the NHL. So he has transcended based on a lot of the pundits and the media experts that his greatness is even past the NFL in itself. It goes to other sports. So I believe no 2 ways about it. He had an all-time phenomenal career, and I believe everything that he achieved is worth it.
One, Wally. The thing is, Wally now.
Wally, chime in on the topic, man.
Yes, Wally, chime in, man. It's you now.
All right, wait. In gone, we turn. Tom Brady is unquestionably the GOAT. The only persons, when you look on all media platforms, watch the different news outlets and so on, the only persons who had Tom Brady as not the GOAT prior to this playoff were Green Bay supporters, right? And after these playoffs, right?
Repeat that, Wally.
They have
Repeat that part. What supporters What supporters didn't have Tom Brady as the GOAT?
What?
Green Bay supporters,
Hold
right?
on, hold on, hold on.
Green
Are
Bay.
you guys
Hi,
hearing me well?
hello.
I don't. Are you guys hearing me well?
Yes, we
Yes,
are. We
we
are.
are
Yeah.
We
hearing
are.
you. Yes, man. My time for talk, right? So after this playoffs, right? Where the State Farm diva, right? Who has 5,000 commercials and one Super Bowl in 17 seasons, right? That's what he's the MVP of, right? State Farm ads. Now, we see, without question, he is, they have to come out of their delusion and take him out of the GOAT conversation, right? And when we're doing the recap, which our producer will not allow the voice to get away from, I will go into some damning statistics about the quote-unquote force-ripe legacy wannabe GOAT. But for this segment, until the producer gets to the recap, unquestionably, Tom Brady is a GOAT. And one of the critical factors in determining the GOAT, you can have all the statistics in the world come regular season. Show me who you are when it is playoff time. Show me who you are when it matters most. And we saw with Atlanta where he came from the deficit, right? People argue, try to be intellectually dishonest and try to argue against the great all-time great comeback that he performed. And for this
Why
reason,
don't you give the defense any credit for that?
for this reason, for the very same reason, you blame the special teams for such man performance. The very same reason. For the very same reason. Since you don't want to be accountable. Anyway, moving along. So without the heroics of Matthew Stafford, where we saw the deficit, right? Against the Rams. We saw the deficit.
So that was hold on, Wally. Let me just ask a question.
Okay,
I
so
don't want
you know, but I want my feedback again.
no, hold on, no. I don't want you to deviate too much into the recap because I see you're talking about
Don't beat and teach. Too much
Matthew
beat and teach.
Stafford. Wait until your time come for you to talk about that. I just want to know your favorite memory of the guy. And if you think, I know you already think he's a GOAT, tell me your favorite memory so we can move on. We have a long show. We have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. We have coaching hires. We have this tomorrow to look forward to. I don't want you to bore my ears telling me about Diva and this and that. All right, boss?
So my well, at this point,
Yes.
looking retrospectively, my favorite memory, because I said I only rooted for him last year. Every other Super Bowl I rooted against him. But retrospectively, I my favorite memory would have been the comeback in Atlanta. It was
Definitely.
it was absolutely superb. I mean, just looking at his demeanor on the sideline, you saw him talking to the defense, saying, boy, just get them out of the field. Just get them out of the field in the second half. And, him telling the guys, let's go. There was no ounce of doubt in his mind that comeback was going to happen. And that comeback really embodied who Tom Brady was.
All right. So thank you guys for sharing. Whether it is your sensationalism, your romanticism, or just your pure respect for Tom Brady. I really appreciate it. Producer, can we move on to the other quarterback? Who is indeed retired. So Big Ben played 18 seasons, had 165 wins, 2 Super Bowls. He went to 3. He won 2, 418 touchdowns, and he won 8 AFC North titles. All right. So Wally, and I know you're a Steeler fan. But for me, obviously, I'm not here to throw shade on anybody. I've liked Big Ben a long time. I liked Big Ben before even I like him even more than Tom Brady. That's not to say he's better than Tom Brady. I just like him more. But to be honest, I think this is 3 seasons too long. I think he played too long. Obviously, I think for what Big Ben embodied in the NFL, I think he could have achieved a lot more. I didn't think he took care of his body as he was supposed to. Just like how the LeBron James of the world, the Tom Brady's of the world, the Russell Wilsons, spend millions and millions of dollars on their body. Big Ben is out there eating Burger King, Chuck E. Cheese's, and all of that. I don't think he specifically took care of his body because he was so gifted physically. Oftentimes we take those things for we take it for joke. But for me, he did what he was supposed to do. Obviously, I think he could have probably been into a couple more Super Bowls with the amazing defense that they had. Coach Tomlin, all those wide receivers. Because when they look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, they draft wide receivers like nobody else. They have a nick, for wide receivers. But I think when we look at Ben the last 3-4 years, couldn't throw the ball downfield, struggling to throw the ball, forceful. But Vincent, let me start with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and the first thing, if you want to pay some respect to Big Ben, you can. But my question to you is, Big Ben, Eli, Philip Rivers, they were in the same draft.
Wow.
I want you to tell me.
That's easy.
I want you to tell me, who do you think? Obviously, you can look at Super Bowl, don't look at Super Bowl, but just the body of work. Who would you say is the most successful quarterback? Because all three have retired now. Who is the most successful quarterback out of that draft?
All right. Well, for me, I would measure success based on winning and losing and championship. So Big Ben has 2, Eli has 2. So I mean, both of them would have shared with the same success in terms of championship. I think probably Big Ben would have won more. He has never had a losing season, so he has won more in terms of as a team. So I would rate him above Eli. As we come to Philip Rivers, I think out of all three of them, Philip Rivers is the more talented, pure quarterback of all three of them. But I don't believe that he has achieved based on that talent. You understand? He has accounted for a lot of interception. His team just never get over the hump. You understand? For me, the standout is Big Ben. Like you said, never take care of his body. He reminds me as you talk. The name that come to mind is Shaquille O'Neal. This great talent, this big person, but just didn't take care of them body to achieve even so much more than what they have. They currently does. You understand? So Big Ben was just a joy to watch for me. You understand? He didn't have the greatest arm. He really didn't have the greatest arm strength. But trust me, it doesn't matter who. In terms of, you would have defender just draping all over Ben. And Ben going to shake them. I see Ben shake off some defenders sometime. If you go back and look at his highlight, shake them off. And just ball down the field. You understand? But yes, Wally, I didn't think he had the greatest of arm, especially as he get older. And as you said, Ken didn't take care of his body, didn't take care of himself. The difference in terms of with his scandal and Tom Brady's scandal was pretty much around his team. Big Ben's scandal was him. Things that he did that was just off. You understand? And the truth is, you talk about getting a pass, probably might not want to say it, but I believe that as a white quarterback, he got passes that many other quarterbacks would have not got. Absolutely. That is the thing for me where Big Ben is concerned. But trust me, it's a career I love, a player I love to watch, and I believe that after three of them, I put him at the top.
All right. Thank you so much. Chris Lynch, I want to get you in right here because when we look at Big Ben, I think Big Ben was the first quarterback that people feared. And when I say fear, I don't mean they see that they're playing Big Ben and they say he's going to pick the defense apart. When I say fear, I think defensive line was afraid to sack him because when they sack him, it's like they are the one who feel the pain from sacking Big Ben, right? But when you look at Big Ben, Chris, Two Super Bowls, three Super Bowl appearance. Obviously, he lost to Aaron Rodgers in that Super Bowl. Do you think this guy is a? Do you think this guy is a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, easily. Big Ben is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Easily. Very efficient quarterback. Like I don't know who said it. Doesn't have the best arm strength, but he's very efficient at passing the ball, and that's what. And I like to see that in quarterback. You have to have it, and probably that's why he got a bye to play so long, even though he didn't took care of his body because he's efficient. He really can go underneath easily. That's what he's been doing for probably the last 4 years. He's been just throwing some 7 yard, just throwing it, just basically going underneath. But Big Ben is definitely it would be sad that it's sad that Tom Brady is actually retired. If Tom Brady go ahead and retire with Big Ben, that would be sad because then it would just overshadow. Tom Brady will overshadow Big Ben all of Fame all of Fame thing. So that would be sad. So hopefully Kems don't get to sleep good and Tom Brady come back for our next year and Big Ben get to go out like a true champ.
Okay. All right. Wally, I'll let you come in and talk because I see you making up your face over there. You disagree with the guys. It seems like you're fuming in temper. So I want you to let out the steam right now. What do you have to say about your quarterback, Big Ben?
Clearly, Chris, wicked man, Chris, and Uncle Vinny, Uncle Vinny are suffering from recency syndrome.
No.
And even if you want to look at this season, there are multiple times where what the offensive scheme this season has been pretty much short passes, get the ball to Najee Harris on occasions, and then on third down plays, throw the ball down the field to chase Claypool. And there were multiple times this season where you couldn't say, boy, Big Ben in his 18th season, the ball was really short, boy, you can really see that the arm strength is lacking. Why, he wasn't able to connect with Chase Claypool. It was just a case where there are times when the ball is there on a dime and Chase Claypool is either covered well, double covered, or him just don't catch the ball. If you go back to the triple B era, the killer bees era, he was leading the league or the top 5 in the league in pass completion of 10, 15, 20 yards and above.
But 1 second, Wally, remember, some of those big yardage was because, yes, probably him get it 10, 15 yards down the field, but it was because play that AB was making.
I'm not factoring the yards after catch. I'm not factoring those in. I'm talking about plays where the ball has gone 10, 15, 20 yards prior to the receiver catching the ball. That was one of the things Big Ben was known for. His arm strength is just the latter part of his career, the last 3 years, where he consistently was not able to make those throws. If you remember, if you go back to the game where he broke the record, I think he threw 6 touchdowns in a half. I don't remember who they were playing. He'll come back to me a little later on. He was throwing bombs down the field. So that is one of the things that Big Ben has been known for over the years. His arm strength. So I totally disagree with that. As it relates to taking care of his body, we kind of I can't see over Big Ben's career where his lack of care of his body has impeded his performance. You can't say, boy, he would have because first of all, he doesn't run, right? He doesn't run, and as a matter of fact, the one of the things that he's good at is actually extending the plays. They always say, boy, Big Ben, is so hard to take down, and because of his size, Persons are unable to do that. So it was actually a benefit based on his style of play of maintaining that sort of size throughout his career. But I can't see where he was breaking down because he didn't take care of his body. I can't say, boy, if he took care of his body like Tom Brady, he would be playing for 22 seasons. Remember, he played for 18 seasons, and
he actually didn't play for 18 seasons, to be honest, because he missed
the accident in 2006.
Not only that, the season when they had Mason Rudolph and so with the elbow injury. So he played. I think he played probably like 16 full seasons.
Which is still a lengthy
No,
career.
but what we're saying, Wally, is all right. What we're saying is that the physical attributes that Big Ben came into the league with, if he was taking care of his body, treating his body nicely, eating proper food, his career would have been better. You would have more records. What you mean, Wally? You are somebody who the gym are your second wife. So you're supposed to know the effects of taking care of your body. Why you expect a guy like LeBron James spend $1 million on his body? Why you expect when LeBron James going on and Tom Brady going on vacation, they have their fitness people with them. They have their chef with them, they have all that. Big Ben don't have all of that. The season because Big Ben took his body for granted. That is just the facts.
No, but you're behaving as if the model of Tom Brady and LeBron James is what every other professional athlete does. It's not.
No,
it is not.
It is
not.
not.
Those persons are anomalies. They're anomalies.
Not really.
Yes, they are.
No, not really, because okay.
There's nobody in the history of the NBA that in their 19th season is doing what LeBron James is doing. There's nobody in the history of the NFL who has gone as long as Tom Brady and at the tail end of their career is leading the leading class.
That's the thing, Wally, because remember, as Gary alluded to earlier, remember the league has switched from what it was before. Now it's more offensive. Now it's more tailored to quarterback. Now, if you're blowing at the quarterback ears, it's a penalty. So it's different from those times when guys were getting literally pile driven into the ground, and then it's nothing. Like get up and play football. So it's a total different thing.
So when you watch the games with all Terry Bradshaw and those quarterbacks and see what they go through.
Gosh, man.
Oh God, Tom Brady would not have lasted 22 years. If
the rules were the same, Wally, if the rules were the same and Big Ben played 18 seasons, whatever, I say kudos to you. But again, and you see it in his preparation, you see it in his throwing, you see it in his lack of mobility. Because you're saying that Big Ben couldn't move. I don't know which Big Ben you're talking about. Because when Big Ben just came into the league,
I didn't say he couldn't move. I didn't say that.
Well, I'm sorry if I misquote you. But when Big Ben was just in the league, when Big Ben was in his prime, trust me, Big Ben was putting out people. Big Ben was running down the field. But when you saw Big Ben the last 3, 4, 5 years, it's like you're begging Big Ben to come off this. Like, Big Ben, please, just slide. Please, Big Ben, just slide. It don't look good. Look good. And I'm saying that if he had took care of his body, Wally, I believe the output would have been different. That's just me.
And that is a false equivalence, because there is nobody in the league who takes care of their body better than my quarterback, Cam Newton. Nobody. And yet still.
Cam Newton.
And yet still. No. Follow the point. No, for the line of reasoning.
I'm following it,
You are equating performance on the field to physical conditioning.
Okay, all right. And what I'm saying, Cam Newton is as good as Big Ben.
And what I am saying,
just answer that.
That's irrelevant.
No, it is very much relevant.
That is irrelevant.
Is Cam Newton as good as Big Ben?
No, he's not.
All right.
He's not.
Okay.
But what we have seen with Cam Newton's career is that from the start of his career to the end of his career, his physical conditioning was on point. Yet still, his skill set diminished over time.
Because Cam Newton was just not good enough.
Right, but it shows that it has nothing to do with his physical conditioning.
No, because
that's the point. That is
all
the
right.
point.
No, because all right. What I'm saying, Wally, is that Big Ben was so physically gifted. If he had even taken
as was Cam Newton,
I don't think Cam Newton was as physically gifted as Big Ben.
Don't do that.
No,
don't
I don't
do
think
that.
Cam.
Do not
I'm
do
telling
that.
you.
Don't do that.
I
You
don't-
know, Kemp, that is a big lie, and you know that.
No,
Mike Tomlin was not calling run option plays for Big Ben on the goal line in the red zone and those things. There have been multiple seasons where Cam Newton was basically functioning as a running back, and that is because of his physical gifts. Don't do that, man. Don't be dishonest.
All right, Wally. What I'm saying.
That and because he's not as good as Big Ben arm talent.
That's
right,
what I'm
but we've already established that. What Kim said is that as a physical specimen, Cam Newton was not better than Big Ben. That's a lie.
No,
we all know that's a lie.
No, Wally, you're talking about running. When I'm talking about physical attributes, I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about stature. I'm talking about arm strength. I'm talking about arm talent. And Cam Newton came into the league.
Talent is not a physical attribute.
I'm sorry?
Talent is not a physical attribute.
No, I said arm talent. Arm.
That's not
arm.
that.
Is it? Why is it not?
Talent. That's
I said arm talent. Arm talent. I believe it's a physical attribute. Cam Newton. Well, remember, when Cam Newton came into the league, what was Cam Newton known for? What was he known for when he came into the NFL? Even when he was at Auburn, what was he known for?
He was known for running and his big arm.
I don't know about the big arm.
Yes, you forgot his first game. He ran for 400 and threw for 400.
I mean, I don't know about big arm because Cam Newton never had a big arm to me, right? Because it's impossible for somebody to have a big arm and so quickly in the NFL that arm diminish. Like that's for me, honestly. Like you can't have a big arm and then 4 or 5 years into the NFL, then the arm start diminish and the arm start get weaker and weaker and weaker. If you tell me say Cam as a running quarterback is elite, all right, I'll give him that, right? Because that is what he's working with right now to stay in the league. But as I've said, for me, for Big Ben, I just believe if Big Ben had eat properly, if Big Ben had work out, because there have been multiple reports that Big Ben didn't even exercise. Big Ben lay down on him couch and then him go practice, go back home, go on him couch and come Sunday and play.
Yeah, man, Big Ben look like a O-line. Sometimes I look for him, I say look for him.
Yeah, like I don't know. The
Big Ben look like him can come to a second career and be a O-line.
Hey, but Devin, let me get you in here.
I only put it like this because, as I said, he reminds me of Shaq. Whereas he would have performed, I do believe that the fact that you don't condition your body, then it takes you a lot longer time during the season in order to come into your own fully. It eventually going to affect the outcomes of your career. And I said probably that is where it affects Big Ben, just like it did with Shaq.
Because and that's a fantastic point, Vincent, because what you realize Big Ben had to do in like the last 6-7 seasons, he had to be playing himself into shape. So he doesn't come into the season into shape. So obviously it was a 16-game season then. So then probably by game 7 or 8, then Big Ben is in shape right now. But everybody else.
All right, I'm gonna ask one question. Did Drew Brees take care of his body?
Yeah, I believe so.
What were you calling in the last 2 seasons?
Yeah. Oh, noodle arm.
Okay. That's nothing further. Nothing further.
Everybody diminish.
Nothing further.
No, what you're not understanding, Wally, that's two different things. If like your hand just don't have it anymore, you just don't have it.
That was 42. That was 41 doing it. 41,
that was 40.
No, but that's the point I am
2 years younger than Tom Brady. So
that is the point I am making.
What point?
The point I am making that even if you take, no matter how well you take care of your body, There's a limit. You can't perform at your optimum in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s. I keep telling you that LeBron James and Tom Brady are anomalies.
No, but what we're saying, Wally, where Big Ben is concerned, the physical attributes and the physical quality that he had, if he had just worked out in the off season and come into the season in shape, he would have been better.
Probably get 2 more years for him career.
His decline happened too sudden. Normally when those things happen, it take a little time. Big Ben was like right here and then just right
Jump
here.
off of the cliff.
Remember, huh?
Off a cliff.
Remember, when you look at Big Ben, when in the big games, Big Ben could have beat Peyton Manning, Big Ben could have beat Peyton Manning. Big Ben could have beat Tom Brady. Now Joe Burrow come in the picture. Big Ben can't beat Joe Burrow. So and again, I'm saying, when I'm looking at Big Ben, these are the games that I want Big Ben to win. This is the conversation I want Big Ben to be in. The Peyton Manning stakes, the Tom Brady stakes, those high-level quarterbacks. I don't want to compare Big Ben with Eli Manning. I don't want to compare Big Ben with Philip Rivers, no Super Bowl appearance. I want to compare Big Ben because how he came into the league, that is where he should have been. In the upper echelon with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, but he's not there. He's in the Eli Mannings of the world, the Philip Rivers of the world, and obviously he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I just believe if he had just paid more attention to his body and stuff, he would have been better. But Devin, go ahead and give me a talk on quickly on Big Ben.
Oh, so first thing, like the arm strength is just the latter part of his career, but I don't know if I'm misinterpreting what other panelists were saying. Like over the years, his career didn't have great arm strength. So I went and checked something, and I said, like, based on the time he was drafted and playing not up to within the last 3 years, during his time he was drafted and in his better part of his career, the only person they said would have a better arm strength. We're not talking about any other skill set or physical attributes, whatever you want to classify it. Was this worthless quarterback we used to play for Cutler?
Denver then Bears.
Than Big Ben. Yeah. So in terms of the question that you mentioned with the other 3 quarterbacks, Kevs, this is one thing my wife always discuss. She cares zero about sports. Basically, when it comes to the NBA draft and the NFL draft, can't tell you who go where and the parents and
really?
And yes, like that's the draft.
good.
Yes, like the draft. So even with Big Ben and with the draft, she could tell you where it was drafted. But so I'm gonna use one of her reasons, even though teams may have different needs. But Big Ben, he was drafted at 11, way back in. He was drafted at 11. Manning was at number 1. And then Rivers was at 4. 4. Yeah. And then when you look at the expectation, then a number 1 quarterback like Manning compared to, even though teams may have different needs, you would say that the expectation for him was higher. So based on Ben being drafted at 11, she always say because she like Big Ben, but he would have exceeded the expectation based on the draft. That's just based on drafting. And there may be some reason to it because he was drafted at 11 and he has 2 Super Bowl. The guy who drafted at number 1, he has 2 Super Bowl. Rivers don't have any. But there are other factors in terms of passing yards and all of that. But I would say of the 3, I'd rank him up there too. I'd rank him above the other.
He's definitely
you know
number
what I mean?
1.
Yeah, I'd rank him above the other.
He's definitely above the other.
But
that's just my little take. Okay.
But Devin, at times, right? So at times, obviously, with any draft, at times, they are going based on your performance, whether in high school or college or whatever the case may be. And then, over 18-year career or 20-year career, obviously things can change, depending on, how. Remember, if we look at the Chargers, the Giants, and the Steelers, which one of the organizations you'd say is more stable?
The Steelers, without
I would say the Steelers. I would say the Steelers. When you talk about longevity, the only thing I think the Steelers has changed a lot is offensive coordinator. But I think after they have had Mike Tomlin there forever. I know when Big Ben came in, they had another coach, and then Tomlin came
What
in.
his name again? Bill Cowher.
Bill
And he
Cowher.
was there, for about 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
About 12
Steelers
years, I
have three
believe.
coaches in 40 years, guys.
Yeah,
They're
correct.
Yeah.
Right.
consistency. Three coaches
Yeah,
in 40.
so when they talk about, so again, when we're talking, we have to be careful how we talk, because I believe we have to take everything into consideration.
Yeah. I understand that. Yeah.
No, but even with the stability of organization, I still believe Ben has done more with what he has. You understand? I believe he's more outstanding. And like I say, if you just look at pure talent as a quarterback, Philip Rivers is it of all of them. You understand? But in terms of achievement, I do believe that Big Ben is.
Can make the
Wally, you
argument
don't.
Manning should have done more. Manning,
Kev.
they have a great team.
Listen, man, Manning overrated to me now, and I don't even want to go there.
Hold on, Gary.
Hold
Hold on, man. I get to you. All right, Gary, go ahead.
I want to get in my team. Come on, I want to get together. All right, so all right. Out of the three, we never address this thing. The question I put to Vincent with the Peyton Manning, Rivers, and Eli in that three quarterback class of 2004. Personally, I don't know for nobody else. I think Eli Manning is one of the most overrated quarterbacks the league I've ever seen. When I look at, two things, I believe, Peyton Manning, the two things I would talk about Eli Manning for, I believe he wouldn't get so much recognition, is that he beat Tom Brady twice. Basically, Tom Brady kryptonite before Nick Foles beat him in that third Super Bowl, and because he's Peyton Manning's brother. When you look at his career overall, he's stunk at the joint more than half. When you look at his career numbers, it is. I didn't get the time to do the research, but when you look at it, he led the league in interceptions a number of years. His winning percentage was awful. When you look at his touchdown to interception ratio, compared to other guys, he's not even top 50.
Gary,
right? No, I'm going to say the Giants. The Giants wasn't a stable organization. I'm not going to blame him for some of the losses.
Gary,
but
hold on. You have to be careful, because a man come on here and say name State Farm, Diva, player, flop. And when you talk about Eli Manning, you can say whatever you want to say about him. But when it come on to clutch performances, I don't care what you want to say. It can be terrible in the regular season, but when it come on to time for being clutch, make that clutch.
He's known, he's known for the two of the most clutchest moments in playoff history, right?
Okay.
And the playoffs that he won, the Giants won that Super Bowl, those are the two seasons that are outstanding. But I'm saying, if you're going to take the overall package, we can talk about Aaron Rodgers flopping. I would know that he flops in the playoff. But in terms of the overall package, basically, when I look at a career, if Eli Manning had one Super Bowl and no Super Bowl, a matter of fact, if you take away those two Super Bowls, he wouldn't even be talked about. Ordinary. But the Super Bowls kind of elevate him and beat him.
All right.
So I think it's overrated.
No, all right.
But
listen. We cannot make these. We can't, for people who are watching, we can't make them like a full statement here. But if we take with Super Bowl, you cannot take with something with somebody earned, brother. So we can't. If we take away you say about records, we could take them all out. We could take all of them. We could take a Tom Brady 7 rings. We can't come with a full argument here to try and push a particular narrative.
No, fine. I was just trying to make a point by using that analogy.
But can I straighten your point, Gary? I can straighten your point. If we take away you saying about record, we get Asafa Powell, and Asafa Powell is still great.
Asafa who?
Top 5 runner ever. Top 5
still great. Still great.
Top 5 runner ever. Can't go around that. Can't go around that.
Hey, we talk about that.
Can't go around that.
Hey, producer. Remember this topic, producer. All right. Hey, let me talk about this guy, because time is going. Let me talk about this guy, OBJ. And Gary, I'm going to start with you. Let's talk about OBJ. When OBJ left the Giants, when he was traded, all I heard was, can't play with this guy. This guy is a cancer. This guy is not good enough. This guy should be out of the league. That's all I heard about this guy, right? He played 6 games this year for the Browns, 34 targets, 17 receptions, 232 yards. All right, cool, no problem. Those don't look too productive to me. But
As the number one receiver.
but I don't think he was the number one. He was the number two receiver.
Yeah.
He was number two. I think Jarvis Landry was number one for them. And
Remember, Jarvis Landry was out for a while,
no, not this year. This year? No,
The
this is
6
this.
games we are talking about.
No, this is this year numbers, man. This is this year numbers.
Oh.
Right? And then now, when he's playing for the Rams, 10 games, 60 targets, 37 receptions, 428 yards, 6 receiving touchdowns. People, I always tell you guys, the quarterback matters, the system matters. We have to find that guy. Gary, talk to me about OBJ and how is it that he has fit in so seamlessly in the Rams system, but has struggled so much in the Cleveland Browns system?
All right. Persons love to criticize OBJ, right? We know he has some diva antics, and he's one of them that, if he doesn't get his way, he will throw a tantrum on the side. We saw him in the Giants, and we saw him in Cleveland. But for the most part, and you said it perfectly, the quarterback is very, very important. The quarterback because remember, the receivers do not throw the balls to themselves, right? The balls come from the quarterback. When you look at him, right, and what he was doing in Cleveland, we know Baker Mayfield, the number one pick. You see that Baker Mayfield struggles when it comes to him, right, just throwing the ball. If you put the game on his back and say, all right, listen, throw us the victory. When the running game is effective, when the ball is being run properly, right, the Cleveland Browns, the system, it does well, and Baker Mayfield's statistics looks good, right?
Sorry, another State Farm superstar. Just putting that out there.
Progressive. oh, you mean Baker?
No, OBJ.
No, Baker.
OBJ. Okay. Baker is progressive.
Okay.
So when you
He's
look
the
at
competitor.
And I hear people blaming. You remember when Cleveland wasn't doing well when OBJ was there? Oh, they're trying to force feed OBJ. A lot of the experts, I hear Skip Bayless and Undisputed, some of them on NFL Network saying that, all right, he's trying to appease OBJ as number one, trying to force feed him the ball to get him happy, to make him satisfied. When you look at what the Cleveland Browns, after OBJ left, Baker continued to stink up the joint, continued to throw interceptions, throw picks like it was going out of style. Remember that last game, I think they were playing, it was second to last game. I think we came on the show and talk about. I think they were running the ball very well. Kareem Hunt and my guy there. And remember I threw 3 picks in that game, right? And none of the experts that were blaming OBJ for Baker's woes, right? They were nowhere to be found. We know that the quarterback in Cleveland is not very effective when he doesn't have a proper running game, right? He's prone to mistakes. He's basically an overrated number one pick. Once the running game is not going well, he cannot get the job done. And we see the Sean McVay system. We know that. Spread the ball, right? They have the number one dominant Cooper Cup. They like to, throw the ball down the field, and he's fit seamlessly right into the system because McVay is an offensive genius. So he will kind of, get the receivers, call plays that are good for OBJ, integrate. And he's fit seamlessly in the system because I believe basically the style that the Rams play, spread the ball, they are very explosive. With Cleveland, couldn't fit well in the system because the quarterback was prone to mistakes and it was predicated on the running game. So I think this system is much better suited for OBJ because of those factors.
So this is where I disagree with you because the Rams system is really and truly similar to Cleveland system. All right, as a wide receiver for the Rams, one of your primary duties is to block. You must be able to block playing in the Rams offense.
Yeah, but the running game is nowhere near each like Cleveland.
No,
so
I mean the running game is not as elite as Cleveland, but Sean McVay want to run the ball first. But should you get in trouble, he has no problem throwing the football, right? Chris Lynch, I'm going to get you in because over on Manningsman show, we spoke about this a long time ago when the father released the tape on Baker Mayfield. And I don't remember if you were one of the persons who were hitting out on it, but there were quite a number of people who were saying, this guy, how can he have his father release a tape on him and all of that kind of stuff. And then I said the tape is true. And then, there were reports that came out that, hey, Jarvis Landry is unhappy, the tight end is unhappy, the defense is unhappy because they have to be on the field, quite a lot. So what do you think about OBJ's fit in the Rams with a chance to win a Super Bowl while Baker Mayfield is at home rehabbing?
I don't know. Well, Kems, obviously what the father did, obviously we knew that Baker wanted out. Once your father go ahead and post that there was nothing that was going to happen that let OBJ play for the Browns again. Obviously the franchise got Baker Mayfield back. So obviously that's how it would have played out. But I don't think anybody can question OBJ part of it. Yes, you probably have troubles off the field or with teammates, but they cannot question his ability to catch the ball. That's what he's known for. I don't think anyone should really do that. And anybody, basically, it must be Baker Mayfield. It must be Baker Mayfield. This is a living proof because we knew that OBJ can catch the ball. So what he's doing now at the Rams is nothing surprising, especially he's getting single coverage. He's just eating food. Basically, one person on him, he's just catching the ball and just having, because Cooper Kupp is the number one, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so he's not going to get a lot of targets. But I think the good part about it is mentally, he's in the right place, obviously, because he's not getting a lot of targets. And I haven't heard any complaint from him. He's still having a successful season.
All right. And I'm glad you brought up that point, and I'm going to bring in Vincent because, I heard that, he's not getting the ball. He needs the ball. And right now, OBJ on the Rams is a third option. The third option. And sometimes he can be the fourth option after the tight end, Tyler Higbee, right? So sometimes he's the fourth option. I've never once see OBJ shrugging his shoulders. I've never once seen him held on his head. Sometimes he has 2 targets, sometimes he has 8, sometimes he has 10, right? So I believe the narrative that was out about OBJ, obviously, I think it was just because, obviously, the franchise that he was with. But Vincent, you and I have spoke about this on many occasions. And I said, for me personally, I don't want a quarterback who can't understand a room. I don't want a quarterback who can't read the room and understands, okay, the temperature is a little bit too high. OBJ, high maintenance, let me take down the temperature. That's not Baker. Matthew Stafford will take down the temperature. Baker will raise up the temperature because guess what? Baker has to have the final word. He is the number one pick. He wants to have the last say. Everything has to be about me because I'm Baker Mayfield. So when you look at, because the Rams is your team, the Rams is your team, Vincent. So when you look at the Rams, so I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Do you believe that OBJ is a part of the reason for Rams' success, 1, and 2, with Robert Woods coming back, OBJ would have to take a hometown discount. Do you believe that he would take that because he's going to get some offers this summer? He's going to get some offers, right? I mean, after February, he's going to get some offers also. So, do you think that OBJ should return to the Rams, whether they win the Super Bowl or not?
Well, as you know, because we were on this podcast when OBJ was being traded, when Rams was acquiring OBJ. You know my thought on OBJ already. I believe that he's a diva, and like all these wide receiver diva, eventually they give trouble. He has been quiet. I hear you say Baker don't know how to take it down. The truth is that Matthew Stafford has not been put in the position where we need to take down that temperature where OBJ is concerned. Because I believe when OBJ was coming to the Rams, he would have known that Cup and what was the second receiver again? We got injured.
Wood.
Woods, right? So he knew the situation he was coming into, and he has seemed to bought into the situation that he has come into, and is being quiet. Like Elton is saying here, I believe he's waiting on his next big deal. Which then I'll have to give him even far more credit than AB, who couldn't even keep his mouth closed for a few days to collect $30 million. Clearly, he's doing what he needs to do in order to get paid. He is part of the success of the Rams. No, there's no way you can say that he's not, especially with Woods going down. Yes, he's not thrown to a lot, but he has made, even in the 2 playoff games, he has been in what the system and been a part of what they are doing that has allowed them to achieve the success that they have. So he has. I believe no one can question the ability as to whether OBJ is a great wide receiver or not. He is a great wide receiver. The problem has always been with these great wide receivers like a AB, like Tyrell Owens, like all of these wide receivers that sometimes they just never. They just don't know how to.
Vincent, let me stop you right there. So. Again, I will tell you, I just believe the quarterback matters. Why is it that Tom Brady is able to play with these quarterbacks that run a little bit hot, but he understands the temperature of the room and just bring it down a little bit? Why is it that?
But remember, Kems, you can't use Brady, because Brady has really played with 2 great quarterbacks. He played 1 season with Randy Moss when they scored the most points and achieved greatness, and Bill Belichick didn't bring him back. Then he came back again and has been in the corner for AB. And we all see what AB has done to him.
Yep.
You understand? Yeah. So he has, even with everything that Tom Brady has done, look what AB has done. You understand? So I am saying that the truth is, I will give OBJ the credit that since he has come to Rams, unlike some of these other divas who would still make noise, he has sought to learn to just get himself in line and seem to be doing what is necessary. So let me give him that. Yes, we can say at Giants, we see what took place. We see what took place at Cleveland Brown. He's accommodating himself into the Ram system. So I am going to give him that. And just hope that him just, But the truth is, these divas, wide receivers, man, they're headache. At the end of the day, they end up being headache.
All right. So Devin, you're a New York man, and only New York games come on your TV. So sometimes it's the Giants, another time
unless we pay extra.
One time it's the Giants, another time it's the Jets, right? I believe one thing that OBJ was widely known for was that catch against the Cowboys. That one-handed catch. That was his call to fame. Even though they lost that game, that was the highlight of the game. You will see an OBJ in the Rams system now, Devin. Do you believe that this is a quarterback that now you can still start your franchise around, put him as your number 1 wide receiver? Or do you believe he's a 3rd, 4th wide receiver?
No. You can't start around him. And then what I've seen is his maturity came. I remember, put aside the catch, there was a playoff game that they went, and then he was pictured on a boat partying. New York still on for even they lost the game. And even if they had lost the game and that video didn't surface, people would say, okay, they didn't know anything. But video surface was like, I think a day or a couple of days before. He was on that, it was on the boat and all of them stuff. You get what I'm saying? Partying. So now, when I hear what's going to LA, I say, you know what? That is why he wants to go to LA, to go with the party and all that stuff. But so far, nothing comes. So, and people never question his play on the field. But then, during that game, right? If that video didn't surface, people start saying he looked lethargic on the field. You get what I'm saying, Kems?
Yep, exactly.
That video wasn't around. You would have said, he just have a bad game, and everybody can have a bad game.
Yep, absolutely.
But the maturity, I don't hear anything, and he seemed to be like, focused on the game, and he's definitely. And I want to give you a little credit, Kems, because I remember on the podcast before the trade, because I was picking up for Baker, which I jump off of that bandwagon.
Think like the Titanic, you want drown like Jack.
And you were saying, boy, if OBJ, I think there was a release with some ranking of some wide receiver, and then they never put OBJ up there. You're saying that's ridiculous, because if OBJ leave out of Cleveland, he can be a top target wherever.
Of course, absolutely.
No, so what you're saying is Baker, and I was trying to defend Baker, and you said no, you would definitely strive outside of Cleveland. And now look, he's definitely having a great season.
Absolutely.
Once that maturity is continued, Kems, no doubt that he can be that guy.
Absolutely. All right, Wally. So, I'm not sure what you think about OBJ, Wally. But what I want to say is, and the guys talk about maturity, and OBJ is now expecting his first child. His girlfriend is in LA, and again, oftentimes we talk about sometimes when you find the right woman, you're forced to mature quickly. Have you, Wally, seen a change in OBJ? Because, I don't know if you have him as a diva as other guys, but have you seen a change in OBJ's game? And do you believe the change in his game has really propelled him to be more productive on the field?
So I don't think there is a change in his game per se. One of the critical things that we kind of didn't discuss was the quarterbacks matter, but also the coaches matter.
Absolutely.
It was clear as day that the coach had no interest in OBJ. You could see it in the play calling, you could see it in the interaction, you could see it in the schemes that were run at Cleveland. There was no interest in getting OBJ to excel. I can remember I don't remember which game it was, but like for the entire game, he was targeted like 3 times, and they show the stat that every time he is, more often than not, when he's involved in the offense, it actually leads to good results. So you have it was clear that there was a personal vendetta as it relates to the coach and Baker Mayfield. All right, this guy come with all this hype, and we are going to put him in his place.
Absolutely.
To be fair, I cannot look at OBJ's tenure and say that boy, he behaved as a diva per se.
Absolutely.
Right? You are an elite wide receiver, and you see that the offense, the quarterback and the coach are deliberately freezing you out of the system. I actually think he handled this time in Cleveland pretty well. Now, what remains to be seen is if he will continue to have the self-awareness that he is displaying now in Cleveland, or it is just a facade until he gets the bug. I think, and he has mentioned, they've interviewed him, that he really wants to make up for that his last playoff outing. He's hungry, he's desperate, and you hear the teammates really talking about him at Rams, saying he's really keyed in to make a difference, to kind of wipe away the narrative from his last playoff outing. A big factor that will determine for me if he comes back or not is whether or not Rams win the chip. I think that if they come close, but they don't make it, I think he will run it back, because he sees the opportunity to get some silverware. I think he is at the stage of his career where he's kind of looking to have a rebirth per se, and to have his name mentioned, because he's a very proud individual.
Of course,
he wants his name mentioned among the elites, and I don't think that he has a resume right now, one player outing, to be in the discussion. So money is a factor, yes, but you can see by listening to the interviews that he's done that his headspace is he also wants to be in that conversation where elite wide receivers are concerned. So the quarterback matters definitely, but the coach as well. You can see Sean McVay calling his number on critical third downs. You see them calling his number to run the trick play, right? That shows a lot of trust.
Absolutely.
To throw the ball. So there's a deliberate effort by Sean McVay to bring him in and say, all right, even though you may not get, 10, 15 targets, we are still calling your number in critical situations
Absolutely.
and calling your number to make some splash plays. So
Absolutely.
you can see that both from the quarterback and the coaching perspective that he is being embraced, which is the total opposite of what was happening in Cleveland.
Absolutely. All right. We're going to move on now. We're already 15 minutes in. Producer, give me the next one, please. All right, so we're going to talk about some head coaches, right? And some new head coaches here. And I'm going to give each of you one of these head coaches, for you guys to talk about. Depending on which one the producer put up first. All right, so the first one, and I'll give this one to Devin, right?
Yeah.
Brian Dable, he was offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, right? He's now the head coach for the New York Giants, right? And the reason why I believe that this hire was basically inevitable was because the executive for the Buffalo Bills is now the general manager for the New York Giants. So obviously he's going to go ahead and he's going to take somebody from the Bills with him, right? However, I've often argued, Devin, that when you look at the NFC, right? You look at the NFC, you have this guy who just finished calling plays for Josh Allen. How is he going to come there and call plays for Daniel Jones? Like, let's be honest. What? Like, if I'm leaving, listen, if you are leaving working for Bank of Jamaica, how are you now? You're going to work at, a printer that is just now coming up. You have to wait for the printer to come up before you can start making some real money. So I believe that the Giants are going to go. They say they're not in the Deshaun Watson stakes, but I believe this is where they go for Russell Wilson. I think they need a Russell Wilson. I think they need a wholesale name. And I think they had to talk about it before this guy agreed to the job. Right? And again, when you look around the NFC, you have Aaron Rodgers, you have Matthew Stafford, you have Kyler Murray, you still have the 49ers. You still have Dak Prescott in your own division. And you look and you say, Daniel Jones? I can't win any games with Daniel Jones. Devin, what do you say?
Oh, so you get, it's like you answer the question already. I'm gonna tell you, like you answer the question already. Because one of the reasons why the New York media is so excited about this guy is that they're saying Daniel Jones is gone.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's like you say that, coming from Josh Allen to Jones. I was listening serious when that radio station that
T-Rex SFM or something.
Yeah. When I'm sports channel and I was saying, oh, it's not a matter of if, it's when. So I don't know what they know, but the way that guy coach, and he's a positive guy, because even when you look at the game against Chiefs the other day, I think they made a touchdown on a fourth and goal.
They did.
You right? Right?
Yep.
So it just show that guy with that mentality, he's wanting to have like a good quarterback to back up that. And I don't think he sees that in
Daniel Jones. No.
Daniel Jones. And he wants to protect his reputation. So
absolutely,
he's gonna build up on it. He's gonna look for somebody who will see have some definite better qualities than Jones.
Absolutely.
And like, New York is excited about him. And what you're excited to is like even the owner of the Giants the other day, he was apologizing to the entire New York fans and media and everybody, saying that things just seem to get worse with New York, from the coaches, some calling with the coaches, everything's like things just getting from bad to worse. And when you think that just to paraphrase, it couldn't get worse, it actually get worse. So it's like, some simple stuff, games.
Yep.
Would probably make you win some games. So some stability will be there. So this will definitely bring some stability. Even if he's working with Jones for a little while, certain dumb calls or some stupid play.
Yep.
You're not gonna see that. You're not
Yep.
gonna see that again. So that's why people are excited. Like at least
Absolutely.
with the coaching itself. Yeah.
Absolutely, because remember, and because we're going to talk about three coaches, but we have obviously we have four persons, no 5 persons here. So Vincent, I want to get you in, Vincent, because um Brian Dable, a lot of persons didn't know, he was the offensive coordinator at Alabama when Tua was there, right? So he helped with the development of Tua, and as Devin alluded to, the owner came out and said that they have tried to do everything to hurt Daniel Jones' career. That's basically what he's saying. Like we have done everything to fail this young man. So I guess now he's trying to turn it around and say, hey, it's not all Daniel Jones' fault.
No.
But let me tell you something, Vincent, and you're older than I am, so you have been around much longer, watching much more sports than me. When a quarterback have it, you know them have it. Remember, when Peyton Manning, I think it was his first season, he threw the most interceptions in the league that year. But guess what? You saw that this guy would be great. Kyler Murray never make it to the player. Well, but you saw something there. Justin Herbert haven't made it to the player, but you see something there. When I'm looking at Daniel Jones, Vincent, this man cannot even run straight for a touchdown. He's running, falling on his face, all of that. So tell me, Vincent, you are the New York Giants. You just hire a coach. He just finished coaching up Josh Allen. Improved Josh Allen in 2-3 years. Made Josh Allen, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. You think Daniel Jones stay a New York Giant?
But I mean, this is us. I'm struggling to find what to say to you. Daniel Jones is just not it. Like you, I look at quarterback. Sometimes you can see that they make mistake. The team may be bad. Don't have these pieces. Don't have that pieces. I can't tell you anything about Daniel Jones. I can't even. I don't even know what is it that Giants saw when they took him. I can't give you any answer for Daniel Jones. I don't believe that he's gonna be a good quarterback, and I believe the coach, just as Devin said, he's gonna move on because every coach is tied to a quarterback, and I don't believe that this man wants to be tied to Daniel Jones.
Absolutely.
The problem is what are they going to do and how are they going to do it?
Absolutely. All right. Give me the next head coach. All right, and I'm going to give this one to you, Gary. So Nathaniel Hackett, he was the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers, right? And they asked the owner, well, they asked the GM actually of Denver, hey, did you get Hackett because you want Aaron Rodgers? And he said, absolutely not. But if one thing we know about sports, we don't listen to these people because they will lie, and lie some more. Right? But Nathaniel Hackett, right? And let us be clear. Matt, and I'll say it like how Stephen A said it, Matt LaFleur, right? He is the one who calls offensive plays for Green Bay. However, the offensive sets and so Nathaniel Hackett has a lot to do with it. Let us also not forget that Nathaniel Hackett was on the offensive side of the ball in Jacksonville when they were going on that amazing run with Blake Bortles and stuff, right? So Gary, you looking at this hire right now on the roster. They have Teddy Bridgewater, they have Drew Lock, they have some really good wide receivers, and they have a really good defense. Obviously, I've said this on this platform many times. Hey, the league is going offensive. You have to get an offensive coach. You need that quarterback and head coach relationship. If you as a defensive coach, it's hard to have that relationship because you cannot relate. You only know defensive people. You can't relate. So when you look at this, Gary, I want to ask you 2 questions. One, is it that Denver is going to go out there and hunt down a quarterback? And 2, being in a tough division with the Chiefs, with the Raiders, with the Chargers, How do you think that the Broncos will fare?
All right. Yeah, man. To answer the question, this hire by the Denver Broncos. I think, as you said earlier in the comments from the other guys, we're speaking to coaches being tied with quarterbacks. I don't think Nathaniel Hackett is going to come there and work with Teddy Bridgewater. We have seen him over the years at the Vikings. He was at Saints. Decent game managers, not an elite, prolific quarterback that will take you over the hump. Drula, there's nothing to say about him. We really don't know what I don't know what to make of him. He's not that guy, right? So him coming into the Denver Broncos team, very good defense, tough division. They have some good pieces on offense. Sutton and Jared Judy and those guys, they have pieces. Coming into the Broncos, they will want this guy will want to go out and get a quarterback, right? As we know, he was at Green Bay. Matt LaFleur called the plays, offensive sets and schemes, major part of signing off and being involved in those play calls and those schemes. So I think with the uncertainty of Aaron Rodgers' career, where it is now, not a failure in Green Bay in the playoffs, nobody knows what he will do. I think this move, we might, don't be surprised if we see Aaron Rodgers going to Green Bay. Sorry, Aaron Rodgers going to Denver, right? It looks kind of suspicious to me. We don't know about the quarterbacks on the market. There's also Russell Wilson is out there, and we know Deshaun Watson is there. But I believe that there's some tie there to Aaron Rodgers, basically. So they would want to, because the Broncos have not made the playoffs in a number of years. That division is a very tough division, with the Chiefs, right? The Raiders and Justin Herbert. So they would want to get a quarterback they feel that can be competent, a real top quarterback. They don't want to go out and get, a middle of the pack or a game manager quarterback. They want a top level elite quarterback. And I think Aaron Rodgers would be that answer for them. I don't see them going out and looking for anybody to develop into.
All right, so Gary, I have a question for you now, because what is being said is that if Aaron Rodgers going to the NFC, going to the AFC, that's like a death sentence for him. He's going to have to go up. He's going to have to go up against Josh Allen in his own division. He has to go up against Patrick Mahomes twice. He has to go up against Derek Carr twice. He has to go up against Justin Herbert twice. You got Lamar Jackson in there too. Josh Allen. They're saying, Aaron, I don't know. You come up short in big games. I'm not sure this is the division for you. Stay in the NFC. Stay with your Minnesota Vikings, your Chicago Bears, and your Detroit Lions. You're sure to win that division 90% of the time. What say you?
Yeah, that's a very good point, Kims. That's a very good point. I've heard the experts this week, persons were looking at it and saying, listen, you are the NFC North, and most of the times it's a 80% to 75 to 80% chance of them winning the division over the years. And once they win the division, you're in the playoffs and likely to get a top seed. That division, AFC West, is a brutal division. So I don't know how we would fare. I'm wondering if, him leaving Green Bay, going to Denver, maybe he just wants a change in scenery. Maybe he wants to, take on a new aspect of his career. But I don't think it will be easy. It won't be easy, definitely. That will definitely be a challenge. We can't study Aaron Rodgers in terms of his thought process or he thinks his mind, his mind how it operates. He's a person who will say something and then he comes and he gives you this, long soliloquy and he gives you this puzzle to unravel. So I think it will be much tougher. We know that once he goes to the AFC West, those quarterbacks twice a year not gonna be easy. And we see what he did in the NFC, even in the playoff moments. But I really don't know. That will be a different challenge for him. It's just to see where his mindset is and his mind space. But he definitely had it easier in the NFC, especially the NFC North. Going to the AFC West will be brutal. So it's just a matter of his mind set at this stage of his career and what he thinks, is best for him.
But Kems, let me sell it for you. I am the GM for Denver Broncos. It's a Elway now. I have been the quarterback at Denver. we have won 2 Super Bowl under our championship. We have always had a great defense. Every time we have a great defense and a great quarterback, we win in the Super Bowl. We took Peyton Manning, just did that surgery, didn't have any arm strength, pretty much manage us. We win another Super Bowl. Aaron, see it here. Great defense again. We have some pieces around us. We just need it to come in. And right now, you can do more than manage a game. This thing they're talking about, all these other quarterbacks, listen, if Aaron goes to Denver, Denver is going to be right there at the top in the AFC in terms of winning that championship. And that's just the truth. And you know that with all the fault that Aaron Rodgers have, and we know that he has played within himself in some of these games, Denver can sell easily to Rodgers about coming and winning. And that's just my take.
All right.
Good
All
point.
right.
Good point.
Give me the next quarterback, next coach, so I can have Dwayne talk about this one, because I'm glad that Dwayne joined us, because this one, is his favorite. He likes to talk about Justin Fields, and they got a new coach. So they got this guy Matt Eberflus, right? And he was the defensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, right? And to be honest with you, I do not like this hire. And I'll let you talk about it more, Dwayne, but I don't like it because I guess what? Again, as I said, the league is going offensive, right? And again, if they get a good offensive coordinator, then sure, probably it can work. But again, that quarterback coach relationship, you need that. And again, this guy is a defensive coach, right? So let us say, they always say, in the world, they always say, show me your friends and I tell you who you are, right? So this defensive coach, guess what? Guess who he has? All defensive friends. He's talking to defensive coordinator here, defensive coordinator there. So I don't like this for Justin Fields, because I think he needs an offensive coordinator. Probably I would get one from college if Justin Fields is my guy. Get an offensive coordinator from college. Get him to come in. Get him to run some college sets, because if you know, in the NFL they start running a lot of college offense right now, if you really look at it. But Dwayne, what do you think about this hire, and do you think this helped Justin Fields?
Straight cronyism. You understand? This guy, he has friends in
Yeah.
high places. I don't know how he get this job, because the Colts have always have the Colts is also one of those teams that draft players very well, especially on the defensive side. So he has good personnel working with at the Colts, right? And the thing with the Bears now, the Bears' problem wasn't on defensive. So I
Yep.
guess they're planning to win games 10-6. And that was NFL from the late 80s and early 90s. The NFL has
Absolutely.
totally revolutionized. And all right, to me, this guy is gonna be one of the first candidate to be fired. By the way, did the outgoing GM hired him before he left, or he was hired by
No,
the new GM?
that's what I was about to say. So the new GM for the Bears, is somebody that come from the Colts.
Oh, yeah.
That
That's
yeah,
not
yeah,
surprising. Them thing always
Eh,
happen.
yes.
oh,
So you're gonna hire who you know and who you're
Yeah.
comfortable with, right?
Yep.
Mm, straight.
So
But
why
to
you
be
didn't go for the OC
no,
at the Colts?
uh, so I'm not sure, but to be fair, I've heard a lot of good things about this guy. I've heard that he's very personable. He's open to constructive criticism. And he's a really nice guy,
Yeah.
right? But again, in the NFL, nice guys really finish last,
So
right? It's
hey,
not
hold
Trust
on,
about
me.
being
hold on.
nice, being fun. They want
We
results.
not
Of
we
Performer,
not cut
result,
you.
result.
We
So
not cut you still, Kems, but we
uh-huh.
also heard a lot of nice things about Urban Meyer, didn't we?
Well, not really, not really. I heard a lot
Well,
Well,
of I
well,
heard a
not
lot of
really.
when
Yeah.
bad
when
things
he was
and
Especially,
nice things about Urban Meyer,
no
especially
before he got the job, we were hearing all kind of nice things.
yeah, the
no,
scan,
But
yeah, man, the
then
not at
when
scandal
all,
never broke out yet.
not at all. Well,
some of the
only
things persons never know in a games. A lot of them, you never you have to
yeah,
have
let me
you
say,
inside.
understand, it was all right. Put it this way, it was not reported by the mainstream media at the time. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
Because
That's it.
him in a them
True.
connection. Cause we know how NFL run. NFL run is that white coaches and quarterback and players, they will always get a pass.
All right,
You
put up,
True.
understand?
producer, put up that last comment from me from no one. All right. So this guy is saying Belichick was a defensive coach too, but that didn't stop him. All right. Let us not play ourselves. There's always that one or two coach who, they always say Bill Belichick
Yeah,
is the greatest coach, but even Bill Belichick needed a top offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels, right?
right.
And we saw Josh McDaniels try to go coach on his own, and I sent
Never will.
Vincent. I sent Vincent a podcast the other day with Brandon Marshall and a lot of NFL guys, right? And those NFL guys will let you know, as you guys spoke about Tom Brady earlier. They said when Josh McDaniels went to coach in Denver, they started 6-0. Right, they started 6-0, and then they were playing San Francisco. But San Francisco and them was sharing the same field. And their little video guy got caught recording San Francisco
Remember that.
training. Right? When they got caught, they lost 8 straight games after that. They lost 8 straight games, and they end up finishing 8-8, right? Because it's a 16-game season. So again, the Patriot way is to record your practice and study your practice and tell you what to do. What it work for them, don't work for them. But what I'm saying is that you can have a defensive coach, but you need a top offensive coordinator. Sean McDermott for the Buffalo Bills, he's a defensive coach, and he had the guy who just got hired,
Dable.
Dable, right?
Able.
So you need a top offensive guy, and as a head coach, you have to give the keys to the offensive guy and be like, hey, you run the offense, you call the plays, you set the sets, you do everything. But a last coach I want to talk about who haven't got hired, and he has been to 4 straight AFC championship games
That
now.
me they are gonna bring up
Enemy.
right now.
Yeah,
But
is
that me they are gonna lead
Enemy.
to them. I
uh,
was going, yeah man, be enemy. That's what me they are gonna throw in at the spoke. All
yeah,
of
yeah,
these guys getting hired.
yeah.
What
So
happened to the guy?
all right. So what I've heard about BNM for probably the past 2 years is that he had some, and when you are of a certain complexion, your thing get
You're
heightened. Your
Yeah
little,
man, we
no
know
man,
we
you're
your this,
held at a higher standard. Put it that way. You're held at a higher standard.
I say
your
God,
discretion,
like that doing, like that.
your
That thing, man. Never
discretions
hear
and
that.
so get. Cause all right, look at this. All right, look at Dan Quinn. So Dan Quinn was the coach of the Atlanta Falcons, right? They
Mm-hmm.
wanted Dan Quinn to coach the the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaguars. Yeah, yeah.
Man say hell no. The man say
No.
hell no. I'm not coaching them. And then a lot of persons wanted to interview him. You know what the man say? I don't like these jobs. I'm staying with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm continue being the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. And let me tell you that. You see, next season,
I'm
a
gonna
lot
get
of persons going to be
consideration.
running him down.
That's true. That's true.
A black coach say, "Oh no, that man will never get another
Never
call."
get
At
another
that day,
opportunity.
I'm
You're
like,
right.
look on, look on the Tampa Bay offensive coordinator
Leftwich.
who just got
Leftwich.
the Jacksonville job, right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
This man coach Uno called the goat. If you are the goat, why Jacksonville are the only job you're gonna get
But
associated with?
No, but not
Kems,
only
you
that,
got
in
to
a
realize
Kems.
that
He
the
was
black coaches will never get the best job. Them have to do a rebuild. Check the history of the league.
and that is true.
Them now go get
Because
the best
Leftwich,
job.
remember, and I think Leftwich started as quarterback coach with Arizona. With same Trey name Trey, young guy that is there now, right? And even Tampa before Brady come, you could see the system that Leftwich was there with and was putting in. I believe he has shown himself to be a good offensive coordinator. Jaguars job. So in another 3 or 4 years, if Jaguars doesn't come good, he gets fired, and
Probably
that's gonna be
two, probably less than that, Vincent. It's
yeah.
only in
Listen,
3 years either,
yeah,
probably 2 years at
Yeah,
most.
it
yeah.
bad
All right,
Kems.
look at the guy. Look at the guy that was in Houston. I don't remember his name right now. Right?
The guy
Them
that just
fired
got
him.
fired.
O'Brien, Bill
Yeah,
O'Brien. No, man.
With him
Cully.
hand tight
Cully
behind him.
talking Cully. Oh, the last one. Oh, the black coach. Yeah, man. Cully.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you understand? Check the history. Bill O'Brien became the coach and the GM before he got fired, right?
Yeah.
So in the
True.
league, you got to look at the Tony Dungy. When he was in Tampa
Yeah.
Bay, built that team. Tampa Bay was the worst team, and then they got rid of
And
John
when
Gruden
Tony
come
Dungy
John Gruden come
and went for
inherit.
John Gruden.
True.
You understand?
That's true.
So it's just a history, and not only that. Look at Mark Jackson. Although I don't really want to segue. Look at Mark Jackson
Yeah.
in Golden State.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's
Mark
just the
Jackson's kind
history
of
of
different.
America.
Mark Jackson's kind of a different situation
Yeah,
because
he
he had
makes
Wouldn't
set,
some.
necessarily say
he
that
had,
though,
he had,
but
he, all right. So they blackball him, but he
it wasn't.
added to it. You know, let me tell you something with sports. You can have your beliefs and all you want. Sometimes if you want a job in the people in organization, you shut him out. You know, sometimes your mother always tell you if you don't have no good for say, you shut him out, right? You know, him come out and him, you know, him
Yes,
bash a
Kev, but
particular.
look how many other
Yeah,
people
man,
have
one time Mark
attitude.
Jackson want to tell the man himself, he said, praise Jesus, and the man didn't want to praise Jesus.
Well,
Yeah,
may
like
agree with what you are saying about me. I tell you, say they are held to an higher standard. You understand?
well,
Right.
I
but
wouldn't
True
put
that.
it so,
And the
man.
narrative is always different. You
no,
understand?
but
That's
So
Black
that means
coach in
that
the
that
NFL
Todd Bowles then
will
at first
never
now getting a good job then.
get a top team.
Uh,
All right,
I'll,
they always have to be rebuilding teams. Those are the jobs that where
work
the
magic.
so-called name brand white coats don't want
Yeah, them
because
can
they
just
want it.
refuse it.
They
Them just
you
refuse it.
understand? So if Byron Leftwich had refused that job, what do you think would happen?
Then I say, see, we give him opportunity and him not want it. And then
You
Brandon
understand? We we
would
we
get
trying
more.
to find diver. I know we're trying to find diversity in the coaching fraternity, but he didn't want the job. He can't pull off a Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn no
Mad?
say
Can't do that.
where the guy name in Dallas know him know say by next year, you know, if him not get it right, him not gonna get the job. That's why no one leave. And Dallas are the biggest team in the league.
Yeah, McCarthy.
You understand?
all right.
And right now, if you don't have a quarterback, it's hard
No
for you
make
win
no
games
sense.
in this
That
league.
make no sense. We
That's
shall.
what that's what we were speaking about earlier, and all the guys alluded to it. Because I
Yeah.
said that you could have go there, you could have get Jesus to coach you. If you don't have that quarterback, if you don't have that guy
Trust me.
who is
Now go.
willing who is willing to, you don't want a quarterback where, and that is why. And let me just talk about the Rams really quickly before we talk about the games coming up. This is why the Rams went all out to get Matthew Stafford. Is Matthew Stafford the best quarterback in the NFL? Absolutely not. But for Matthew Stafford, everything doesn't have to be perfect for him to win. Jared Goff, though, everything has to be perfect for him to win. Everything has to be laid out on a platter. The running game has to be perfect. The defense has to be perfect. The play calling. I don't think Sean. All right, look at this. In the game versus Tampa, remember, it was 27-3. All right, and then Tampa kept coming back, coming back, coming back. Then it's 27-27. You believe 42 seconds left. You believe if it's Jared Goff, Sean McVay going for it?
Mad. I run him around
no.
the
Sean
ball
McVay
and
said,
buy for overtime.
take a
Overtime, you say.
knee. Let's take our
Overtime.
chances in overtime.
Overtime.
And this is why you have to love the Rams. The Rams, they take some big swings. We have a good pass rush. We have Leonard Floyd. We have Aaron Donald. Hey, Von Miller, you come in.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I want to talk about the games that are coming up tomorrow. And you put up those summit producer, the games that are coming up tomorrow. And I want to start with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs. And obviously the Chiefs are 7-point favorites. They're favored. They just won a game against the Bills, a shootout. And right now, I'm going to start with Devin here. I'm going to start with Devin. Who do you see winning this game?
I'm going to the Chiefs.
Why?
Right. And I'm going to the Chiefs in the sense that, all right. I think the Chiefs. I would send this message to to the Chiefs defensive coordinator. All right, and I think that's what they're gonna do. All right, Chiefs in the game against Bills, right? They took away Diggs' impact, right? And I think they're gonna try to do that against Chase,
Yes. Can
right?
they?
All right, and I'm glad you said that, Vincent. And this will lead back to one of Kim's favorite talk about greatness. You know, what I mean, the ability to keep to do what to keep doing something, and you know what they're going to do, and you can't stop it.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely,
I figure Chiefs gonna try and do something. So that's a part of the matchup. And what I think on the Chiefs side of it, Kims, in the game against the Bills, the Chiefs in the second half they run the ball more. So what I'm looking for is a more balance of them running more in the first in both halves. Because I see like they were trying to throw it a lot. I know Mahomes is a good QB, but I'm looking for them to balance the running against it and the passing game in both halves. And there's something there, Kemps.
Yep.
I'll get a stat here, right? It's the only 6 QB ever enter a conference championship with 50 plus sacks. Yeah? This is 5. Burrows is as great as he is now. Great in quotes. He's a 6 QB. He's a 6. And he's way ahead of the others. He have 62 sacks.
Yep.
So if I'm the Chiefs and I'm looking for them to do that, Melvin Ingram and them, I'll try to get at Joe Burrow. Even though other defensive coordinators on their defensive scheme try to get at them and he's still winning games. But those are some of the key areas to try to take away Chase impact in the game and try to get at Burrows, and Mahomes and the offensive and everybody. They will do the rest. So I'm having Chiefs to win this game and cover that spread as well. Because I'm just thinking, in comparison to last week, I just think it's a strange where, from a gambling perspective, a betting perspective, all the games just
3 points.
They cover the spread. And at one time when I say Rams and a Tampa game, I say, oh, them just are comebacks to cover the spread. I just think things gonna go the opposite this way, where the favorite they're gonna just win big.
All right.
We can just pick up.
I'm giving you my gut feeling against the stats and what I think will happen. So my gut feeling,
I just want to make this point
they're gonna
that
win big.
Devin is correct in terms of the 6th quarterback coming in with the highest amount of sack. But one of the things about Burrows is that even last week when he got 9 sacks.
9 sacks.
He still ended with something like 27 or 37 or something like that with 300 and something yards. It doesn't phase him. It doesn't phase his game. When you look at the sack that he gets as other quarterback, it doesn't see. He just still stays there because one of the things he does is sometimes hold on to the ball to pass it deep, which he does effectively. You understand? And it seemed not to phase him. You understand? So just be a little bit mindful of that. I am just going with the upset with the Bengals. I still, until Kansas City win it, not going to trust the defense. I hear you. They will need to take away Chase. If they are able to take away Chase, they will win. I don't think they are going to be able to take away Chase. Just like you say, Kems, greatness is, I am coming. You know I am coming, and there is nothing that you can do to stop me from coming.
Absolutely. All right. So, Gary, let me get you because I remember the Chiefs and the Bengals played. I believe it was week 17. Week 17 or week 18. I think it was one of those weeks. But they played, and it was a big game because the Chiefs wanted to get the number 1 seed and they wanted to get the bye. So they were really playing. And the Chiefs scored 27 first half points. In the second half, they only scored 3 points. They only scored a field goal. And then, obviously, Cincinnati came running back. One thing I saw the Chiefs did, they stacked the box so that Joe Mixon could run the ball. And then that's when Joe Burrow went crazy to Chase, to T. Higgins, and to all them boys. So, Gary, what I'm saying to you is that, and I believe you picked the Bengals on that prediction game that we have on Facebook. I think you picked the Bengals. So I want you to tell me and explain to the viewers, how does the Bengals win this game?
All right. All right. How the Bengals win this game? I think it starts with their quarterback. Um, as was mentioned, he's one of the most tapped quarterbacks to enter into the this stage of the competition, AFC Championship game, and he's cool under pressure. I call him Joe Cool, right? Um, I think it will be a tall order for him. Um, Going up against Patrick Mahomes. I don't trust the Chiefs defense. They came on strong in the last part of the season. But we see where they can be had, right? Um, they have a corner there. I think it's Sorensen. He makes a lot of mistakes. The blow coverages sometimes. Once what I think needs to happen is that once they get the Chiefs, sorry, not the Chiefs, once the Bengals, get out to our early lead, start getting their rhythm. Once Joe Burrow and Chase, that connection starts good, then I think it will work for them in terms of their offense. So the running game, I don't think it will be that much of a factor. Over the last 4 games, I think, or 5 games, he has 350. He's averaging about 350 yards passing. I think 9 touchdowns and 1 or 2 interceptions, if my memory serves me right. And
Yep.
he was graded by Pro Football Focus #1 quarterback in the league this season, and he got some strong consideration towards the last end, deeper into the end of the season for MVP.
Absolutely.
So he has been really playing phenomenal. The Chiefs, their offense, we know what their offense is about, but I am not trusting their defense. And once you can get to Patrick Mahomes early, I think they have a good front. Once they kind of get to Patrick Mahomes early, take him off his spot, just allow him to force the issue and to force plays and so forth. I think they are prone to mistakes and so forth. So I think the key to this game for the defense, for the Bengals, what they need to do is try to get to Mahomes early, get him unsettled, take him off his spot, and make the Chiefs offense do some, force the issue and try to extend plays, get Mahomes to do things that gets him uncomfortable. That will be the key for them. And in terms of Cincinnati's offense, I think they really just need to get Joe Burrow off to a really, really good start and the offense develop a rhythm. I'm liking the upset in this one because I don't think, unlike a lot of people, that the Chiefs are invincible this year. We saw them starting sputtering. They tapered off to the end of it. Well, they gathered some steam towards the end of the season. In big part because their defense, but also the defense came back down to earth. But I think they can be had. And I'm looking, they have a formidable match in the Bengals because offense, I don't think they're as competent as the Chiefs offense, but the Bengals offense is really a good offense as well. In terms of defense, the Chiefs defense, I trust the Bengals defense a little more than the Chiefs defense. So it will be critical. I think what they need to do is get off to an early start, get their offense in rhythm and get Mahomes, flustered and get the Chiefs offense to do erratic thing.
All right. So, Dwayne, Andy Reid versus Zach Taylor. We all know Andy Reid is an offensive genius. Zach Taylor, he was 6-25 before Joe Burrow went into the building. And if you talk to Zach Taylor, he has, and I've said it before, he said one thing that he has done, he has allowed Joe Burrow to make changes to any play call that he made. So if he calls a play and Joe Burrow doesn't like it, Joe Burrow has the green light to just change the play and make a play that he likes. And I believe, again, I've at nauseum talk about quarterback and head coach relationship and how important that is, right? For me, Dwayne, I am doubling Travis Kelce all night. I don't care about. I'll take Tyreek Hill 1-on-1, but I know Travis Kelce is the key factor. He is the
Does
person.
more damage.
He reminds me as a Gronk for New England in his prime. Like
True.
if you do single coverage, it's barbecue chicken all day.
Barbecue chicken. If you zone him at barbecue chicken, same way.
If you zone a barbecue chicken, because
Barbecue.
if you zone him, he's
Love
getting
the
at
zone.
least
Him
8
love
yards.
You remember that walk-off touchdown, Kems, where he had which it was a game. I think they were playing. You remember that game and he just Is
Yeah,
right?
I
And
remember.
he blew and just blew up everything,
Yeah.
running circles around first. So you can't zone him and you
No man,
can't mark the single him.
I'm doubling him. I'll let Tyreek Hill run and tire out himself, but me, I am doubling Kelsey every single time. So Dwayne, who do you have
Yeah.
winning this game? And tell me some of your keys to the game for the team that you have winning.
All right. I have the Chiefs winning this game, and I'm gonna tell you why. Right.
All right.
If you look at the Chiefs, right, in the last part of the seasons, Pat Mahomes has been going to his third and fourth option a lot more, so he has confidence in those guys, and
Absolute.
those his third and his fourth receiver, those guys are gonna have a big game, and if you double Kelsey, right, what you gonna do with all the other three receivers?
Hey, let me tell you something, Dwayne. Hardman, Clyde Edwards Hilaire, those people can't beat the Bengals. I'm telling you, them can't beat the Bengals tomorrow. It have to be the superstars have to get the job done. So and again, me,
So hold on, hold on,
if
hold on,
those
hold on.
if those people beat me, I am
Right.
content with them beating me. I cannot let Travis Kelsey beat me.
Yeah, man. Take
You
Well,
away the
can't
best.
do
but
it.
but but you, look here, you can't slow down Travis Kelsey, but you cannot stop him. It's like a Gronk, as you say.
No, if you double him, they won't turn the ball because remember
So
Patrick
hold on,
Mahomes. Hold
you
on now.
double
But
him
yeah,
now
but
and
that
leave.
sound like
Are you
no name
hold on?
other
You double him,
offensive people there.
Are you leave Tyreek Hill one on one
I'll leave him one on one. I'll play.
with
I'll
who?
play. I'll
With
play.
who?
I'll play two deep safeties. I'll play two deep safeties, and I'll let
Yes.
and I'll
Uh,
let
uh,
I'll let
you
I'll
know
let.
what will
Force them
happen?
to take what you give them. Just force the
Hold
Chiefs
on.
to take what you give them.
You know what's gonna happen
Tell me no.
when they do that?
Tell me no.
He's gonna do what he did against the Bills. He's gonna go to his shutdowns until they stop that. When they try
Yeah.
to
Well,
stop that now,
all right.
that's the time when he's gonna go over the top to Tyreek and over the
No.
middle to
No. Let
Kelsey.
me show you. Well, let me show you something. The Bengals. All right. So in sports, you have to give up something. The Bengals
Right.
have no problem with Patrick Mahomes taking the checkdowns, but playing in Kansas City, what you don't want the crowd to get into it. You don't want the crowd to get into it. You don't want the big plays. You don't want the 60, 70-yard bombs. You don't want the behind the back throw, the side arm throw. You don't want
So
the crowd to get
so
into it.
what are you trying to do? So you're gonna pick Joe Burrow over Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah, why
the
not?
guy who
I
the
believe
guy
Joe Burrow had a
who
better season than Patrick Mahomes.
I agree
Easily.
in terms of
A teams are
consistency.
much of the team.
In
Yeah.
terms of consistency, he had a better season. I agree.
If
But
I
this is
if I put
this
if I
is
put
this
if I
is
put Patrick
big
Mahomes,
money time.
hold on, doing. If I put Patrick Mahomes on Cincinnati and I put Joe Burrow on Kansas City, I believe Joe Burrow is where he is today, but I don't believe Patrick Mahomes would be in the AFC Championship game with Cincinnati.
Okay. Okay, so you finally come around to say Burrow's better than Tua, right?
No, I didn't say all this yet. We're not going
No,
to
we're not going to. No, we're not going to. We're not going to. You're cool at the boss. We're not even want to hear about Tua now. Because Tua can't do something. We're not going to. No matter pressure I'm doing. Just stop.
Vincent,
No
you
matter
saw
pressure.
me
No matter
catch
pressure.
him.
No
Me
matter
not
pressure.
even,
We know
me
that.
not even
We
go
know that.
bother touch the Aaron Rodgers thing, Cause me say
Yeah, know that. Can't tell it no more.
yeah, but to me, you
Mm.
see, this is big money time now, Kems, right?
Big.
Yeah.
And the only person who has beaten Patrick Mahomes in the playoff is the GOAT. So until somebody else, I may go make the mistake and pick because the Bills to me was a better team than the Bills had the number one passing defense and the overall total defense. And Patrick Mahomes shred them apart last week,
All
especially
right.
in the second half. So you think
Well,
this Bengals can stop that man?
he doesn't have to stop
The
him.
only reason,
He just has to outscore him. He doesn't
yeah, I
remember,
agree.
Okay,
I agree.
remember,
He has to outscore him.
remember,
But
and
if
Hold
this
on,
game
Dwayne.
is if this game go in the high 30s, who you think more likely to
I'm
win?
going. I'm going with the Bengals. I'm going
The
with the
Chiefs
Bengals.
defense, you have to talk about the Chiefs
No,
defense in that
listen. All
game.
right, listen. Let us not fool ourselves. Last week, the Bills had the game won. The
Yeah,
Bills had the game won, and
true.
Yeah.
Sean McDermott. Remember, Sean McDermott. He's the head coach. His specialty is defense, right? And again, I've pointed this out many times. There are 13 seconds on the clock.
Yeah,
The
ridiculous.
first mistake you
Ridiculous.
kick the ball out of the end zone. Absolutely stupidness. I'm not do that. I am kicking the ball short. Make the receiver pick it up. That is at least 5 seconds. So now you have 8 seconds to do your thing, right? The next thing to put some pressure on Patrick Mahomes, rush him into the play. You can't score a touchdown in 8 seconds if you have two deep safety. So there's a whole lot. You throw the ball high, at least 5 seconds to come off of that.
Yeah,
So I'm
definitely
saying,
agree.
but what the Bills did, they went conservative. And again, when you play not to lose, you will always lose. All right. But we can move on to the next game really quickly. San Francisco and my boy Jimmy G, against the LA Rams, right? And Devin, I'm going to start with you again. A lot of persons, they talk crap about Jimmy G, but again, this is a results business, and all this guy do is win. And again,
All this guy do is Kems, we now make a get up. Just stop
what,
one with the
what,
Jimmy G thing, no man.
what
Special
you
teams
mean?
defense.
What you
Stop
mean?
special teams defense. Come
What
on, man.
I don't, hey,
Jimmy G
hey,
not special.
hey, I don't care what you want to say. Is the man in the championship game or not?
Here they know.
All
Yes, he
right.
is, but come
Come,
on. Stop giving man more credit than him man do, man.
hey, all
Go
this
on with the
guy,
foolishness.
I see this guy make two big
Jimmy
throws
G.
in that Green Bay game, and if he didn't complete those throws, it is Green Bay against the Rams today. So Jimmy G played his role. But Devin, what I want to ask you is, you know, when again, let me give, and I'm going to give an analogy that one of my favorite person on TV gave. When you're going on a vacation, Devin, say you're going on a boys trip, right? And say you're going to Dominica. When
Okay,
you bring,
Mr. Cowherd.
yes, who you're going to bring to who you're going to bring to Dominica, Devin? You're going to bring people who know how to hang, don't complain, don't have a problem. Jimmy G, remember, they drafted his replacement, number 3. This man never ever show bad face, never ever vex, always just go out there, execute. People say he's trash, people say he should be benched, and all he goes out there to do is win football games. He needed to win 3 road games to be exactly where he is, and he won his last 3 road games. However, he did it, he won. I bet Aaron Rodgers would have wished him could have win like how Jimmy G win. I bet him would have wished that right now. So him could have win how Jimmy G win. Anyway, Devin, you see the San Francisco 49ers, you see the LA Rams. Who are you picking for this game?
All right, I'm going with the Rams, right?
Yes.
Because the stat is there and the stat is keep mentioning 6 straight games and they haven't beat them. Rams hasn't beat them. And I think in week 18 or week 17, 49ers had a 17-point comeback.
Yep.
18.
Yeah,
A
week
17,
18.
Yeah,
man.
week 18. No, man,
Week
17.
18.
Week
Oh,
18.
yeah. One of them.
Right,
Yeah,
week
yeah.
18. Mm.
All right. So I'm thinking, they're not gonna get the better of them this time around. I mean, it's 2 different type of what you call it, philosophy of football, so to speak. 49ers, they're playing this bruising brand of football with this physical type. Kittle is there, yeah, D-boy is there, while the offensive genius, if you want to say that, for McVay and the Rams, their type is the explosive, score quickly type. So it's like offense at its best against defense at its best, so to speak. But my reason for going with them, we know we can talk about Cup is the receiver and Kittle and all of them. Jimmy G is doing what he's supposed to do. All right. But why I'm going with the Rams overall, I think the Rams are a better team, and they made 2 key acquisitions during the season: Beckham and Von Miller.
Absolutely.
Von Miller, I think they say he has a sack in like 6 straight games. He's playing good. Beckham, we talked about Beckham earlier. You show the games and he has 37 reception, which is the second most reception since joining the team. So I'm going with those two X factors, and definitely, as I said earlier, the games were too close last week. I just think this week is going to be the reverse, where the better team, respective of all the stats that we talk about and all the matchups and everything, I think Kansas is the better team for the first game, and I think Rams is a better team than the 49ers, and Rams going to win, and they're going to win by a score of 7 or more.
7 or more. All right. So the spread is actually -3.5.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man. We can go take. Yeah, man. Easy money that to cover for.
Easy.
All right. So Vincent,
Yo, Danny Devin.
So Vincent, you are a Rams fan, and
Me put the
Rams 49ers, start watch them.
No, man.
Both of them.
He's a wagonist, Vincent. No, man.
No, not a wagonist. There's not a wagonist. Three team
Vincent.
alone in the NFL will bring anytime. And it's Rams, 49ers, and Baltimore Ravens. That's the only three team that I really love. Watch them. And I watch sport, and I would have joined teams in sport because of players. So for me, it was Steve Young. Then it was what the quarterback at Rams name again, Kurt Warner and Ray Lewis. Those are the three guys I probably enjoy watching the most in NFL, and that's how I end up with those teams.
Doing something quickly. Doing a one way by the game them tomorrow. Both teams, Rams, and Kansas to win by a margin of 7-12. 7-12.
Okay.
Anyway, we do that.
Oh, yeah, I say.
All right.
Yeah.
What they say, Kems, is style make fight. And that has always proven to be true. That styles make fight. Devin is correct. Rams have the better team, but Rams style of playing and 49ers style of playing, as he's saying, is opposite.
Yeah.
What 49ers do well is what Rams do poorly in on their defensive side. And that is my issue. Rams have two problems. Run defense. 49ers beat them because of run defense. In fact, most of the teams that beat them is because of run defense. As great as they are in terms of pass defense and in terms of attacking the quarterback, they don't, on their way to the quarterback, they don't play the run well. You understand? And it seemed to get them all the time. So that, and we know 49ers is going to run. So the question is, can Rams stop it? I said to you last week that 49ers would have won easily against Tampa Bay if Stafford didn't have 2 picks. He didn't have 2 picks, but what did Rams do? Akers had 2 turnovers, Kupp had another turnover, plus that bad snap. Yeah. 49ers is prone to have these turnovers in games, and with Rams running Rams is prone to having these turnovers, and with 49ers running the ball, it's not a recipe sometime for them. I am leaning slightly to Rams. I would like to see them again in the Super Bowl, but trust me, style of how they play and what 49ers done sometimes does create problem for the Rams themselves, and it is why 49ers have beat them 6 straight. And that's really it for the game. That's what the game is going to come down to. Can Rams stop the 49ers run?
All right.
And can they limit the turnovers?
So, we heard from Devin and we heard from Vincent, and I said, these are the games that Sean McVay went and get Matty Stafford for. Win me a game, get me to the Super Bowl. Don't worry, Devin, we'll soon leave. I see you're getting very sleepy over there. So we'll soon leave. I know you have to go probably eat your dinner or your supper or something.
I'm eating tired one.
Oh, you sure? All right.
boss. Okay.
All right. So Gary, these are the games that they get Matthew Stafford for, to say, hey,
True.
in chaos, calm down the room.
Calm down the troops.
Tell them, hey, follow me, win the game. Right? And Stein Evans is saying, my favorite team is the Bengals. They better win. Big up yourself, Stein Evans. No, Gary, who do you have winning this game? I know you don't like Jimmy G. I know you're a bad man, Jimmy G.
No,
because he knocked your team out of the playoffs. He drove down the field and knocked your team out of the playoffs. But who you have winning this game?
All right. This is gonna be a very very tough game. I'm leaning towards the Rams. I'm looking at the Niners are a very good team. Don't get me wrong. They're a very good team, physical in the trenches. They can run the ball well. You know, my favorite player on the Niners, I think is the best player on the Niners is Debo
Debo.
Samuel.
Yeah,
That
Love that
guy,
guy.
when you talk about all
yeah, man,
purpose,
bad man.
imagine being a wide receiver and breaking a record, 8 touchdowns out of the backfield. The man, the normal. The only thing
Love
I
that
never
guy,
see him
man.
do is play quarterback. I just love watching Debo. And
Yeah,
the key to
tough.
the game is that once the Niners run the ball effectively, and Vincent mentioned it earlier. As much as they have the pass rush, you have the Donald and the Von Miller, they get to the quarterback and they can put pressure on you. When it comes to running, they don't do well at stopping the run. I would know Niners is a very physical team. They can run the ball. And especially with Debo in the in the backfield, they will do some damage. Even the game that they beat um the Rams, I think it was week 18 to keep out the Saints because they were down. They made some mistakes and so forth. They were running the ball very well, right? Debo
Run.
got a number of yards. He was just churning up the yards, right? So I will say if the key for the Rams in this game, once they don't get the Niners off the run, the key to them is just make it a trap meet. Make Matthew Stafford get a good lead, make it a passing game. So once they get a big lead, I feel, or get a 7-0, 14-0, even like 16, 17-0 going into the half, right? Put pressure on Jimmy G to throw the ball. And Kem Samuel is pressure on Jimmy G, but we see he makes mistakes. So if you leave it up to the Niners to throw the ball a lot, it will work as their Achilles heel. But I'm leaning towards the Rams, and I think once the game comes down to passing, the Rams have a better chance of winning. But once the game is in the trench and they have to run the ball, if the Niners take the ball and run it down their throats and slow down the game, the Rams will have a problem. So I'm leaning towards, and they will be playing at the Rams, get the momentum early. We see in the last game where Stafford, can make those big throws even in the last few seconds, threw the ball downfield, didn't settle for overtime. So once you get Stafford in a rhythm where he's, finding receivers, passing the ball, getting some deep passes on the field, I think this will be leaning towards the Rams. But I pick the Rams in
Rams. All right,
yeah.
Dwayne, quickly, who do you have?
Yeah. 49ers, trench warfare.
All right. All right. So you have the 49ers. That's interesting. So we have three Rams pick. I mean, I picked the Rams as well. So four Rams pick, and you have picked the 49ers. Can you now convince everybody who is watching the podcast and who will watch it why you have decided to go against the grain?
All right. Because all right. I wanted to pick the Rams, right? But when I look at the game, right? What the Ram does well, the 49ers have the team to come back what they're doing. Because what Matthew Stafford wants, is for you to blitz him. And he's the number one against the blitz. But the
Absolutely.
49ers rush 3 and 4 and still get into him. Right?
Absolutely.
In those 2 games, he has 4 turnovers. Right? So in those two, they are forcing him now to make some reads that he and they disguise their move or their coverage so well that sometimes he makes bad throw. I remember, Matthew Stafford I think he has how many pick six this season? He's one of the
Four,
leading
four, leads the
quarterback
league,
with,
4 pick sixes.
and most of those pick six came where later down in the season.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
y'all forget this is the first time Matthew Stafford has played in a game as big as this one,
true.
right? Because before this season, he has never won a playoff game, right?
No.
And and as much as Jimmy G is not my favorite cup of tea, right? The team, the team rally around Jimmy G. You understand? And I think that the thing with the 49ers is that running game. Matthew Stafford will be watching a lot of the games from the sideline, right? And if he comes in the game now and then try to do try to be too spectacular, he's gonna show a lot of picks and he's gonna lose confidence. And I think if the game is close, as we have seen with the Rams, when the games are close, coming down to the end, they start getting jittery and edgy. And as bad as G is sometimes during the game, most of the time when he has the ball last, he's gonna drive his team down the field and kick a field goal. So I have the 49ers winning this game 27-24.
All
Everybody
right.
quiet.
So, oh man, I see somebody talk about the Rams a while ago saying that it's a Rams Super Bowl to lose. I definitely think that this is going to be the Rams' hardest challenge because I think either of those teams, in the AFC, I don't think they can keep up with the Rams' firepower. But we'll see. Super Bowl, palms get sweaty but gets tight. So hey, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to give each of you 2 minutes, and I really want you in those 2 minutes because we'll go over the time, so we can't have an NBA show. We talk too much. So I want you guys to talk about the All-Star starters. The All-Star starters. What you see, whoever get picked for the All-Star, and who you think got left out or who you think should not be in there, and then you can talk about that
Hey,
with 1 minute and then the other minute to talk about whatever. But
Kems, before you go on, Kems, I have not been really following the NBA that close
no, mommy,
so
when
far
when I
this.
pick for you, I'll tell you who the
Yeah,
All Stars are. I'll tell you who the All Stars are.
okay.
All right. But before I definitely want to thank everybody for tuning in for sure. I know a lot of persons still struggling to understand the NFL. One day we're going to break it down. Probably next weekend. We're going to break it down since next weekend is the Pro Bowl. I think we can break it down to you guys. Help you guys to understand just the little basics of the NFL. So that you guys can come in and don't feel lost. Because I see a lot of persons in the comment section say, "Hey, I don't know anything about the NFL," and a lot of persons when I tell them, "Hey, watch the show," they say, "Hey, I'll watch it, but I don't really know anything." So we're going to work on that. Let's teach you guys about NFL and what's about because before I came to the United States, I will never catch me watching NFL at all. I was like, oh hell
You,
no.
you he's
But
a
can,
hey, he's a late comer, man. I've been watching the NFL from I was about 12 on CVM. That's how I learned
well,
the game.
Yeah,
well,
Kev,
you're
you said
That's
them
also
now
that's where
watch
I
a game when a
started.
man. A man
you're
a run up
also
and down and a
you're
jumper.
also older than
Mr.
me.
Host, give the management 2 minutes now.
Yeah,
Brady
the
was
man said the man
can't
said me I
pass.
chat too much.
Kev, the man say I chat too much, brother.
All right, David, go ahead, boss.
Oh, so I'm start with the East. The East, the front court, it was a done deal. Giannis, Durant, and there's nobody is getting in the front court. And I see some people making some posts, and this guy, when named Sean Garrett, you know him, Kems, he was rubbishing some posts made
Oh,
by
Sian. Yeah.
Sian. Oh, sorry. Because some
Sean
people said,
Garrett.
oh, some people get, but it's
Yeah,
done by position. It's done by position. The backcourt, Trey, Young, and DeRozan. Yeah, I agree with that as well. For the West,
So
front
Embiid
court.
is the center.
Yeah, they
yeah,
didn't. They don't
yeah,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess they just do it front court, back court. That's what it is. They just Giannis, Durant, Embiid. There's nobody is
Okay.
getting in front of those three. And DeRozan and Trey Young, I agree with that too for the back court. For the front court now, um, for the West, it was of course LeBron, um, Djokovic, and who was the other one, Kems?
LeBron, Jokic, and Wiggins.
Oh,
Wiggins
and
is the boss.
Wiggins,
Yeah.
right? And at the back court, definitely Steph
Steph,
and
Ja,
yeah,
Jamoran.
and Drummond.
Ja Rastafari.
The only thing based on my vote, I know I didn't vote for Wiggins. I can't remember what I voted, but I didn't vote for Wiggins, but I don't remember who I had in my votes because I voted like about 4 different times. But I didn't have Wiggins in there. But to try to remember who I voted for, who else could have made it over Wiggins games. I can't remember right now, but I didn't agree with Wiggins. But making it. I think there are other players there doing better. Well, no, Wiggins is having a good season. But in terms of our star, I definitely think he should be an all-star, but not say a starter. I don't think he's a starter. Yeah. So I have no problem with the exception of Wiggins.
All right. Yeah. Do you have anything else to add?
It's just one quick thing. With the Lakers game and the Sixers game, I was watching that game and and was escorted out of the stands because it was starting Melo. The game was stopped, and even my wife and my son called me to show me and they rewind to show me what happened. I read up on it. The fan repeatedly, and y'all could talk about it probably another time, repeatedly kept saying to Melo, right? My wife gave me the situation. He's a white fan. He was there with a black friend. I don't know how my wife knew that black man was the black man friend. And he kept saying to Melo, boy, and Melo kept referring to him as boy, repeatedly. And he has done similar offenses on previous time. And they ban him indefinitely. So you know what him referring to him as boy means. I'll leave it at that.
All right, Gary, go ahead.
Yeah, man. All right. So looking at the Eastern and Western All-Star starters, the East pretty straightforward because these are probably the top players. Well, they are the top 5 players in the East, and they lead their team in almost every category. Giannis, KD, DeRozan, prolific for the Bulls this season. Joel Embiid, Trae Young, all of these players are scoring at least 26, 27 points. The lowest person on these points per game average is Trae Young at 27.5. Right, everybody else is scoring north of 28, 29 for KD. Giannis 28.5. So Eastern starters, straight money, cheese. For the West, LeBron, we have Steph, Jokic, Ja, and Wiggins. Don't really have a problem with the starters in the West. Wiggins, I hear Devin comment about, probably having somebody else over him. When I look at the All-Star voting, we know that it closes off, I think it's sometime in December thereabout, and I would have to check to see when it actually closed what Wiggins was doing, because I remember
No, it was actually voting
actually
closed in January.
Up to last week, my vote, man.
Yeah, it was last week.
in January?
Last week. Yeah, last week
It was the
last
votes
time.
were open up to January?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And there was a day, I didn't notice too. There was a day when you vote, your vote counted twice.
Oh, okay. Because I voted in the past, I really didn't vote this season. But I know they usually close off. I didn't know they closed off last week. So, but I'm looking at Wiggins, and to be honest, before Clay came back, Wiggins was a real big part of Golden State's success. The numbers really are not that prolific. He's 18.1 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 4.2 rebounds, 2.5 assists. But looking at his play this season has really improved, helping the Golden State Warriors to a very, very good start. So I don't think it's, looking at the other candidates in the West, I don't think it was really a big snub. We can have other players being considered, but I don't really think it's a big snub. I'm okay with the West starters. Yeah, so that's it for the NBA All-Star. I want to touch on something that Devin said, and it was big this week, where about Melo. We've seen this in the past. LeBron did it. Some time ago, getting fans ejected for crossing the line with his son. We've seen, also Westbrook in the past, where fans were, and I think personally the NBA needs to get rid of these fans, right? There is a line that is crossed. You can call the man a bum, you can say him not good, you can say he's trash. His last, LeBron, you're LeBron's friend, that's why he called you over to play with the Lakers. Your days are done. Just heckle. Nothing is wrong with the heckling. Booing your opponents, get them off the game. When you cross the line, we know about that term, boy, right? Mm-hmm. Predominant in the South, white plantation mentality. Hey, boy, everybody knows it. So you constantly, and I know Melo over the years. Melo he takes a lot of, playing in the New York market. We see at Denver, he's not a soft, thin-skinned individual. So if you are going to continually, and this happened, I think it was late in the third quarter. So it's not that the guy started doing this and all of a sudden the man was there constantly down, with the same verbiage over and over calling man boy. So it went to a point where he couldn't take it anymore. And I believe, right, not because you earn millions of dollars and you are playing a sport, you must take anything from these fans, right? You pay money, you come into the stadium, you can say stuff, but don't cross the line. When it comes to the terms, racist terms, or you come want to get personal, wishing harm on somebody's family or child, these lines are not crossed. So I think the NBA is doing a very good job with, the league and the officials, removing some of these fans that cross the line. Because when they pay them money, they feel they can come and do anything, especially the
Okay,
rich
Kieran,
ones
that's
that sit
5
at
minutes.
courtside. Go again, Levan.
That's 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Hold on,
man. So I'm
hold on.
closing now. So
Let the man
I
speak, guys.
I personally think the NBA is doing a good job and kudos. Keep it up.
All right. Vincent, go ahead.
In terms of All Star, I mean, like everybody else, my only concern was Wiggins being the starter. And yes, he has played well for Golden State this year. I still believe Luca, but then Luca had missed probably about 15 or so games or something like that. So, I mean, but then we have seen certain kind of All Star voting. But I would have put Luca over Wiggins. That's the only probably change I would have made in terms of as a
Yes.
starter. He has a greater impact on his team and in terms of the thing that he does, right? In terms of the NBA, well, for me, it's Golden State again. I am looking at the team. We see Steph Curry have a really terrible month of January. One of the worst shooting performance in his career, in any particular point in his career. But also, so we're Golden State trying to work back Clay T into the mix and into the fold in terms of what they are doing. Draymond Green played about the first 6 minutes when Clay come back that first game, and then he has been out since. I was watching them, I think it was last night or night before last night, they were playing Minnesota, and Clay began to heat up, and it makes you shake your head and say, if Clay really gets back fully, and I don't believe that. I mean, if you're a great shooter, yes, you're going to struggle sometime. Yes, this is the worst he has been, but I don't believe that we're going to see this for the rest of the season. Golden State looking good. Phoenix is the best team in the NBA now in terms of how they are playing. My only concern with them is when it gets into the playoff, and it has to do with Chris Paul leading your team all the way. So those are the two teams I'm really watching, seeing what they are doing, and just watch as we get into the All-Star and coming out of the All-Star, how they progress and how they move.
All right, Dwayne, go ahead. You're not even have to talk about the All-Star. You cannot talk about anything.
I'm going to talk about the All-Star because you're a boy on the bench and Ja is in the starting lineup.
Who is my boy?
Who that?
Luca.
Okay.
And Vincent.
No, Luka missed a lot of games. I think that's a fact.
He missed a lot of games. He missed about 15
Yes,
games.
but Vincent, you said you would have started Luca. Luca is a point guard, and Wiggins is a small forward. So
So you couldn't put him.
reason
I
why,
was going to say to you, thing.
yeah. So that is
And I told
why,
him too.
because
Yeah.
if it's based on talent, I would have put Luca ahead of him.
So
But because
LeBron
they play
playing the
different
power?
position.
Huh?
Or it's just front court, back court?
No.
Yeah,
That's
they
what-
play
yeah,
front
front
court,
court,
back
Oh,
court.
just
That's what
front
they
court.
do.
Yeah,
back
that's how they
court.
do.
Front
They
court,
don't
back
do
court.
position.
If they do it by
Yeah.
center or
Yeah, they're just
forward or
front
small
court.
forward.
Okay,
Front
okay.
court, back court.
Yeah, man. I
Okay.
said then do it, man. So, because really only our Rudy Gobert and the guy hidden in
From Suns. Yeah.
yeah, you don't really
Yeah,
have back in the days, you don't really have no center because
Yeah,
they
and
were
on
just
a
2-3, you know. Yeah, so me nah, and the reason why me feel like they pick Wiggins is in a American sport, you have to have a story in everything. So because Wigan, he has gone through so much struggle in his career, and then he's finally remember he was the number one pick, you know. And LeBron said him no one
LeBron
no
run him away.
rookie. Him say him give me Kevin
Yeah, man,
Love.
LeBron love run with people. That's what I'm saying, man.
No, but hold on. He run him way and get Kevin Love and win a championship. So it was the right
LeBron, Ken's
decision he
boy, I
made.
don't
So
think good for people.
question:
You
do
understand?
they have a draft again? Kems Devin,
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
a
yeah. I
draft
think
again?
they're going to do it. They're going to do it sometime soon. They're going to
They're
have the
picking the teams.
draft
This,
where
this week, all right, I think is
I
the
think a
coming week.
Thursday or something like
So
that.
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is going to
Thursday,
be
I
in the
said.
East then? Okay.
Durant
Yeah.
and LeBron are the captains.
Yeah,
They're
they
going
are
to
the
pick.
captains.
Yeah, they're
They're
going to
going.
pick the teams like a drafting.
Okay.
Yeah, and pick the final point. Pick the 49ers to upset the Rams. The Ram is a finesse team. The 49ers is a physical team.
Trench.
And in the playoff, you gotta win those trench warfare. Just like what they did. I thought
Well,
that Green Bay
boss
got a
man, you know, just talk about 49ers and Rams just no.
Man,
Respect.
I'm
Brady,
man
Can't put
hold
no
team.
on,
respect
I'm
I
on
must say,
two
him.
I'm
minutes,
man team,
brother.
brother.
Wait,
The
what?
man team.
Hold on, now. I'm a 2 minute, brother. When you talk,
How
all the
much we could
crap
put on it, doing?
about huh?
LeBron.
You're
How much
gone
we
a
could put
minute
on it?
45 already.
Put $100 where you have
All
on the
right,
run.
sir.
Put $100.
All right,
I
sir.
make more
All right,
money.
sir. All
Kims, I
right,
What
sir.
mean
we?
2 minutes 45.
The man,
What,
the
what,
man
what,
a
what,
talk.
Yo,
what,
LeBron just a
what-
watch
it's,
man
it's,
left
it's,
time.
be-
All
it's
right,
because
Freddie man,
it's
sorry,
because
When
I
man.
Ken,
doing
Pick
it's because I
tomorrow.
doing though. I make doing go through still. And I give Gary
You
5 minutes
have,
because
you have,
Gary's
you
going to take
have
the
to,
5
you
and take
have,
it into 10.
you have to. I will mute your mic.
All right, my
All
boss,
right,
doing that.
Kev.
Work with you.
Carry
Hmm.
49 as a backup bet tomorrow.
All right,
one name,
so
Jimmy G.
Jimmy G.
gentlemen, definitely thank you for dedicating 2 hours and 30 minutes to this show. It was a really informative. I really love this show. Really talk about some stuff. Big up to Tom Brady, probably the fifth greatest player ever. We
Come
hope he
on, yeah.
finds
Aaron
solace in
Rodgers.
what he's doing, and find peace with his family. Thank you for everybody in the comment section. Thank you for everybody who was viewing. Big up to the producer. We will see you guys tomorrow. We have our Males podcast tomorrow, Sunday, 8 p.m. Devin, I need you on this one. Quickly, let me tell you the topics really quickly. We're going to talk about can the relationship be salvaged after cheating? Is there a way how we can fix the relationship after cheating?
Yeah,
Then we
man.
talk about lies. Do men lie to protect women or lie to protect themselves? And the last thing we want to talk about, if men can endure the same kind of hurt that they put women through. So we have a lot of things we want to talk about. Devin and Vincent is going to be busy, won't be available. So Devin,
I will be
I love your
available. I
huh?
will be available. I will be available. So
All right.
yeah.
All right, gentlemen. So
Anyway, one
you guys
last
have a
thing.
great night.
Big up Cancun Rogers.
Have a good night, gentlemen.
Yo, bless up.